To go to the private sector. That is where people make money, not in government. I've said it and I'll repeat it again. Those who are coming to this administration thinking that it's an avenue for making a lot of money are going to be disappointed. They better go to the private sector. That is where people make money, not in government.
A portion of the World Bank's $570 million economic pump for Ghana was to enable Accra become the cleanest city in Africa. Specifically, $200 million was to finance the Greater Accra Integrated Development Initiative. This initiative is a transformative urban project tailored to bolster the city to become safer, more resilient, and cleaner. What is the status of this project?
Mr. Chairman, the component for my ministry is $43 million, and I think I spoke about it earlier. That is to take care of the Odo Basin, to clean it up, and to cap the heaps of waste that we see around the basin. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You claim that your ministry had $43 million out of the $200 million. How was that $43 million applied?
Mr. Chairman, I have given the components out is to cap about 5 heaps around Tantan and then the Odo Basin. And it's also to clean up the Odo Basin to make the channels open for water to flow in. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
A portion of the World Bank's $570 million economic pump for Ghana was to enable Accra become the cleanest city in Africa. Specifically, $200 million was to finance the Greater Accra Integrated Development Initiative. This initiative is a transformative urban project tailored to bolster the city to become safer, more resilient, and cleaner. What is the status of this project?
Mr. Chairman, the component for my ministry is $43 million, and I think I spoke about it earlier. That is to take care of the Odo Basin, to clean it up, and to cap the heaps of waste that we see around the basin. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You claim that your ministry had $43 million out of the $200 million. How was that $43 million applied?
Mr. Chairman, I have given the components out is to cap about 5 heaps around Tantan and then the Odo Basin. And it's also to clean up the Odo Basin to make the channels open for water to flow in. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
we dey abetwem we dey incheda anye ayibia na obi ka say adenti na oji say scan gu ni dem sa won say mama sisi adapa be ye 1 year ni wanya ayi akese mienu eyi ha ni brother penin wi e ko ye yi ni sister ni mama yankasa oh yeah oh me say me cancer
you say do abaka
me cancer me cancer 1 million sikano or the fee na asem na make
aso no kan ya
me cancer say obi be bisa sa internet sikano eda ni dem okay the woman say a year box na this ka gumu no box no wabo ni say no enye transparent and this ballot boxes na ayegun no brother kasa say no kan say akoye adwuma $40 million or the titi a company bi na yes adwuma no and a company no aje $40 million minimum but ebi a year na sekura no company bet ma money $2 million say omo di bonus and one make it is answer we ba on the business schedule no la ilaha say obi discuss kwesi ni dem a until say you be the soft.
Yes, we are all worried, but really, I mean, this is a matter that is still unfolding and involving the court, so there's not much that one can say.
In his or her house, and so all of a sudden, the crime committed is put on the carpet and at the background. Then the complainant now becomes an accused. Okay, based on what? You are talking about corruption here. You may assume some form of scandal and call for investigation. I have no problem at all. I have basically no problem, given that one of the complainants is a public figure. But then my concern is, why would we want to draw in the government and draw in the president to the extent that lawyer people keeps on and kept on calling the president serpent, mother, whatever of corruption? Where does it situate comes in? If you make a complaint and a petition, and you are able to establish that yes, your suspicion is real, or you have enough suspicion that the money might have come from an illicit source, so it has to be investigated. So be it. Otherwise, we are talking about Madam Cecilia Dapaah, 1 million cedis, the charge sheet and all that. So couldn't the husband have given her the 1 million cedis? I'm coming. Why not? The husband is a rich man. The husband is a businessman. The husband is an accomplished person. So can't we, sitting here, husbands, can't we give monies to or properties or give something to our wives? So let's give the person the benefit of the doubt. Report to the appropriate quarters. Let her be invited, put on interrogation, and let her answer the questions. You don't jump into the bandwagon of propaganda and all manner of things.
What are you classifying as propaganda, really?
Because when you put matters that are not conclusive in your own thinking, you want it the way people to know the way you want it to be, without much investigations done and evidence so adduced, and you sort of convict the person in the minds of the public.
What conviction have we made here?
You are all saying that she got the money illegally.
Nobody has made that statement this morning.
Lawyer Pebu has said so. Lawyer Pebu has said so.
No,
he says he goes on to say. He went on to say that her income cannot.
Can you please put your phone on?
Yes. Her income.
Put it on.
But you said
the Constitution says if you cannot, and I kept saying she should bring evidence. She should bring. She has to justify.
And you said you know, Cecilia Dapaah, we know. Let me paraphrase you. Cecilia Dapaah, we know. You don't know her to be business person.
I don't know her.
You don't know. So that's what
come out.
So that's what I'm saying. You have conclusively said that she cannot.
No,
and she's not worth that. Yeah, you don't know.
Wealthy.
And
so I'm saying that.
And I know her to be wealthy.
So you say so.
And then I'm saying that is what I'm saying, that you've made conclusive statement which you are not privy to the evidence.
The meaning is, I don't know. Do you hear? I don't know her
so
to be.
So if you want to,
okay,
if you want to be if you want to make that categorical statement, you should have gone further to investigate and then to be sure of what you are saying.
Dr. Kokofu,
yes,
is that not the reason why you should also support a call?
Who told you I don't support? I do support.
That pointer to also. I'm coming.
I support the call, and I'm happy.
What are you contesting?
I'm happy. Lawyer Pebu Monday will go to strike. He has promised us.
Maybe OSP, because under Regulation 20, OSP can do a lifestyle audit under the LIC.
Yes, I agree. I agree with you.
That bring your income, do this.
I agree with you. So both. I'm happy with that. There's no contention. But before then, I do not see how you can try her in the court of public opinion and then make judgment of your own.
So which is the judgment?
But you see, Dr. Kokofu, I don't know if you actually
a lot of things.
Yes.
Well, you know it or not, but you and your wife, I and my wife, myself and my wife
are one.
The same thing applies to all of us. So let's situate it properly. Again, going forward, what has government and the president got to do with this at this stage? At this stage, all that we've been told in the public domain is that there's a court case running against theft, crime at this stage. If for some good reasons or any reason, anybody thinks and believes so that an infringement has been occasioned by this couple, Cecilia Dapai and the husband, in this matter, that person has the right to raise any complaint and all that. He spoke about OSP. The law does not say OSP shall. He said may. Suomutu investigate these matters.
$1 million isn't pocket change. Let's not lose sight of the fact. Why would anybody even mention that $1 million? It means she has her sights set on something to cushion not just her personal life, but to secure her political future going forward, because that's the justification that she gave, being able to control others. So it is not something that we can merely wish away or excuse. And I think that, for starters, somebody should be checking her bank balance and to see if she's made some headway towards acquiring that war chest and is well on the way to meeting that threshold that she set for herself.
So,
and I'm not saying it idly.
Me making 1 million and I make is the same as I have intention to steal 1 million.
There's an account saying that
finally, about you're not taking lightly talk about making money. Do you think that there's a need to investigate that? You think that's necessary?
Absolutely. I think that for starters, and I've said that in another form, we need to start with a lifestyle audit. We need to start with a lifestyle audit of our people in positions of authority. You heard President Mills saying that if SEPS officials are able to build a house in 3 years, then it means they're corrupt. What about government officials whose only official source of income is their salary, acquiring property in 3-4 years? Isn't that worth investigating?
But the thing that Professor Mills spoke about, and God bless his soul, we know them, we just play ostrich, don't we?
That is why I'm saying that we shouldn't just pay lip service to it and say things that we want people to hear. But we should move beyond that and start with a lifestyle audit of our people in positions of authority. $1 million isn't pocket change. Let's not lose sight of the fact. Why would anybody even mention that $1 million? It means she has her sights set on something to cushion not just her personal life, but to secure her political future going forward, because that's the justification that she gave, being able to control others. So it is not something that we can merely wish away or excuse. And I think that, for starters, somebody should be checking her bank balance and to see if she's made some headway towards acquiring that war chest and is well on the way to meeting that threshold that she set for herself.
So,
and I'm not saying it idly.
Me make 1 million and I make a is the same as I have intention to steal 1 million.
There's an account saying that
finally, about you're not taking lightly talk about making money. Do you think that there's a need to investigate that? You think that's necessary?
Absolutely. I think that for starters, and I've said that in other forms, we need to start with a lifestyle audit.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our job, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Morning Ghana Live on Metro TV. It's a Thursday, the 27th day of July 2023. It's a wet Thursday morning. Our gratitude goes to Most High God for the very privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making around here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Birth asphyxia. 50,000 babies die annually. Ghana Health Service. GPAC celebrates Golden Jubilee. Black flies invade Lankwantanan and Dawenya. Submit report today. Deputy Minister directs at Disco Management. Ghanaian Times. Childhood immunization program. Newborns to receive hepatitis B vaccines within 24 hours of birth beginning next year. Standard Chartered Bank posts strong financial performance in 2022 despite impact of DDEP. Government invests $154 million in 13th African Games facilities. Sports Minister. Kennedy Japan picks first position for August 26 NPP Special Delegates voting. Daily Guide. Baumia picks 10, Alan 2 for NPP Confab. Standard Chartered posts strong income growth. Cecilia 1 million scandal, $800,000 in box for my brother. Produce report on bullying student, Reverend Fodjo. The New Crusading Guide, NPP flag bearer draw, Baumia grabs number 10. 23rd Community Mining Scheme launched to provide 7,500 direct jobs, Lands Ministry. Game Park launches Lotto operations in Ghana. Dr. John Kuma denies taking over Ejisu lands as he threatened to sue critics. Ghana East MCE accused of exchanging Ghana Atomic Energy Commission lands with building blocks. Western region benefits from €20 million wastewater treatment plant. The Insight, National Cathedral. Shraj vows to probe alleged chop-chop despite opposition by minister and board. Cecilia Adapa, NPP chairman, warns party against jumping to her defense. Big companies earned over $1 trillion of profit in 2022, says joint Oxfam and ActionAid study. Towards boosting health needs of the people, Gadangbe Kills supplies building materials for the construction of ultramodern maternity ward at Pram. Coup in Niger, president detained by security forces. The Daily Statesman, NPP aspirants ballot for positions. Ghana Carter strengthen ties. Africa Games to position Africa as West Africa's sports hub. 21st Community Mining scheme to create 7,500 direct jobs. Daily Post, it's hypocrisy. If I did 1/10 of NPP's mess, they would have crucified me. Mahama. Another Akufo-Addo girl robbed of $114,500, £800, 50,000 cedis and 3,000 euros from a trunk at her home. NPP government spends 5 trillion cedis on job Ibrahim Mahama was doing for Ghana free of charge. Stop using Judicial Council to harass and victimize Domahini, NDC to Akufo-Addo. You can buy a house at East Legon with Abna Dapa's earrings, handbags, phones, watches and jewelry. Malik Basintale. Business Finder. 7,500 jobs to be available from 2 community mining schemes. Israel Ghana must raise levels of investment. SEHP to hold Made in Africa Women and Children Confab. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Betway is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games come to life. Where you can take to the skies with max payouts that reach into the millions. All in the palm of your hand. Visit betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
Do you need a place with a stunning view and serene environment just beneath the Green Mountains with a commercial center and recreational area with an amazing park? Then look no further.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Welcome to Rehoboth Havens, the most affordable yet luxurious gated community located in Damfa, Accra. We have 2 and 3 bedroom houses with spacious park. Let me show you. All of our rooms come with beautiful porcelain tiles, durable fitted kitchen cabinets,
constant water supply,
electricity and water 24/7.
I'm buying this house. Stop processing my papers. Move it. If you're living in Ghana and want an affordable and luxurious house to buy, look no further than Rehoboth Social Housing Limited. Oh, and to those from the diaspora, aren't you tired of living in places that doesn't belong to you? You can also own your house and be your own landlord from Rehoboth Social Housing Limited. I have my own Bosu landlord.
Contact us now. Rehoboth Social Housing. Your housing dream becomes reality.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chese na me ankasa me period na se problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chese na nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me mogya mu no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kra me enu foforo kwa na mkwan mu a eba head everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nuru a ene ne ho eden a watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you. Of Acrobato. Hello. Hey, ohwehwe what che. Okay. A free bra wo di end point wa dance. Am me call you no. Me Jones sema na enkoyie e paso na maye mre nyina na magina sebema na me be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
For over 20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatments like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go Amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the He.
Yamawakwaba, the Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. Ahadie, a bano KSC near Wakaria. Ubenya Biwaha. Kabia ne how any new here. Yansu ye wo hwenim de fu a obeso anu yi amao. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories ye dwumedie de. Eye 24/7 o. Ye sese wo engine, wo brake, battery, yesesa wo tire. Se ba no car wash de a. Ye wo abefun fidie bi ti se steamer ye de horo car engine abra nsuo nko engine nim. Ye san ye detailing metre se ye betwetwe car no mu ba bia amao. Ye wi a ya san polish car na amao kama. Enye we no nko ye san to car batteries, tires, rims, any the keke count. Manadum Auto Fix and Accessories Emma Oka and Sine Dadem, then word you mamma. Shusha Yechira Coin what down Suman, I saw it down who are any KFC boy Henimu, a one crying. So open information and answer Bisabia, Fresh 024 651 9369. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories.
To help meet your business and private printing needs successfully, we have just the right products and services. At Appointed Time Printing Limited, we specialize in digital printing, offset printing, packaging and security printing. Our innovative designs and complete professional touch on our print products such as posters, flyers, brochures, magazines, poll cards and any other print solution of your choice ensure ensure that our customers are always happily connected to their audience. With our security printing section, our clients are assured of a highly secured and confidential work process from start to finish. At a point in time, our prices are very, very competitive. Locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 454165, 0501 454167. Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is a solution.
Culture is dynamic. Culture gives direction. Culture is everything. But do we appreciate that? Do we understand how it affects us? From the arts to policy making, culture is primary, but we need clarity on it. So let's chat about it with those from the various sectors who know what culture and the arts can do for us as a nation. Let us make policymakers and sector practitioners do the right thing with arts and culture. Join us on Culture Chat on Metro TV every Saturday at 5 p.m. with hosts Fritz Bafor and Nana Fredua Ofuriata as they delve into issues with experts to promote arts and culture.
Culture Chat is powered by the National Theatre and Damran PR.
Welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning, I have the Member of Parliament for the Kwadaso constituency, Dr. Kingsley Nyako. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
By the grace of God, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Also with me on the show this morning is younger brother of mine who's always involved in fights. Always.
Needless fights.
In one fight or the other.
Needless.
The Member of Parliament for the Pram constituency. Samuel K. George. Good morning.
Morning, Manje.
I thought you'd be in a t-shirt this morning.
Oh no, from here I'm going to Parliament. Don't mind this disappointed elephant who is saying needless fights. I wonder which of my fights is a needless fight.
Okay.
Samuel Nete George, Samuel Kujoto Blocker.
Sam.
I'm telling you.
That's a medium fit where.
I'm talking about those in Parliament.
So Sam the Sams, S-U-M the Sams.
Manje, which fight have I been fighting? I mean, you mean the alphabet people.
I'll get to the fight soon.
Okay. the better one.
Yes, I'll get to the fight soon. But well, we all know the issues of aging and infirmities and all that. Just to a point where climbing the stairs become a hassle, a big hassle, and it becomes quite disheartening and sometimes frustrating when those beautiful homes that you've built or those mansions that you've built, and after all these years you're unable to climb the stairs and enjoy really what you're told to put up. Well, it becomes challenging and extremely impossible to even use the stairway on a daily basis. It could be your home or it could be your office. But there is a solution for you. That's the American Pneumatic Vacuum Elevators, PVs. And with that, you're sure of unlimited enjoyment of your homes and offices. These are simple to use, self-supported elevators for vertical movement of humans and goods at your homes and offices. And the original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility to choose from. So all you need to do is to get one for your easy vertical mobility at home or the office. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days with some modification to your building. Better still, if you're now building, you can contact Lifts and Elevators Ghana at Sakumono so that it can be incorporated in the design of your building. And so you can reach Lifts and Elevators Ghana on 0200 535 515, 0200 535 515, or email them at elevatorsgh@gmail.com. Get to enjoy that beautiful home of yours, irrespective of all the issues that comes with aging and physical infirmities. Okay. You're asking which fight you are involved in?
Yes, Manje.
Why are you fighting with Greda? I was just going through the new stuff, and I've seen a few stories. Greda demands apology from Sam George over money laundering claims. And then there's one that says that, in fact, there's one which is even on your letterhead.
Yes.
Okay. There's one that says, I won't apologize nor retract. Sam George replies, Greda over. So it's the 26th of July. One on your letterhead.
How's the first name of the president of the association?
The first name?
Yeah. No, he didn't sign with his name. He signed as executive council.
No, I heard him on.
His name is Ebo Bonfo.
But he also called Samuel. You know, this morning I heard one Samuel, whatever.
No.
Okay. Okay. Now, what has Greda got to do with LGBTQ?
Manje, good morning and good morning.
That's where your fight is.
There's more to me than LGBTQ. But you see, Manje, I was on a sister station, Joy News File.
Okay.
We're discussing the Cecilia Dapa money stash. And the host of the show, Samson Ladia Enini, said, many politicians use real estate to hide their wealth. And then I said, oh, this is common knowledge. There is money laundering going on in the real estate sector. The real estate sector is a major storehouse of money laundering business. And that was it. I never mentioned Greda. And then they have taken it and put on their heads. Randy, I know people who are engaged in real estate who are doing legitimate business but who are not part of Greda. It is not correct that every real estate developer is a part of Greda. It is not mandatory to be part of Greda. There are persons who do real estate who do it legitimately. But for Ebo Bonful and his group, Greda, to wake up and begin to issue threats and ultimatums, they shouldn't wait 7 days. Today, this morning, they should go to court. They should go to court and sue me and see if they will have a course of action. Because, Randy, you see, we must begin to call out people who think they can issue threats to politicians and everybody in this country and issue ultimatums. Who does not know that there are persons who are in the real estate business, not everybody, persons in the real estate business, who are engaged in money laundering? Randy, the former president of Greda, Dr. Alex Trinibua, president of Greda, the position Ebo Bonful is sitting in and issuing threats, was doing sim boxing and channeling possibly the proceeds of his sim boxing into real estate. Did Greda report him? Did Greda stop him? He was president of Greda. He was arrested and jailed for 2 years in this country in 2016. So what are we talking about? Why would Greda and his executive council think that they are above criticism?
But obviously, if you are an association like Greda,
yes,
and you are the recognized umbrella body for real estate developers in Ghana.
Yes.
It is not everybody who's a member of GREDA.
Yes.
It's voluntary, you know. And a statement like there's a lot of money laundering in real estate. Obviously, one, it will come to your attention. Two, you will be worried because it cuts a slur on your activities or the activities of your members. Obviously, you would want to do something about it. As to whether this is the route or not, I don't know.
Yes, so Randy, a statement that said that they recognize the challenges of money laundering in the real estate sector and are working with state
maybe
and
they don't have
state.
Maybe they don't have that evidence. So.
But Randy, that's not true. Let me show you.
No, I said maybe they don't.
And I'm saying that it is not possible that the GREDA will say so because GREDA was part of a meeting on the 30th of March 2021 with the then Minister of State at the Ministry of Works and Housing, Honorable Frida Prempeh. And the heading of the story, the reportage, is Ministry Committed to Fighting Money Laundering in Real Estate Sector. GREDA sat in that meeting. The Executive Council sat in that meeting where they admitted that there was money laundering and the ministry was working with them to introduce a rent act to try and digitize the whole processes of land sales.
They admitted.
They accepted that there were challenges with money laundering. And so, and even Ebo Bonfo sent me a letter from Parliament inviting them to the committee engaging them on the Rent Act, the very Rent Act that this meeting on money laundering said that the Rent Act will cure. He sent that to me telling me that shows that they are above reproach and that there is nothing wrong with them. And I said to him, it is neither here nor there. Randy, let me give you a typical example. This if real estate developers were not engaged in money laundering, if real estate developers, if some real estate developers were not engaged in money laundering, the 17-year-old girl who stole Cecilia Dapa's money and went and bought a house and paid in cash $80,000 or $70,000, a proper real estate agent, a developer who was doing due diligence, who do KYC, know that a 17-year-old cannot and should not be paying $70,000 or $80,000 in cash for a property. Randy, I have in my hand here.
What would you say? What would you say to those who say that it is not everybody who puts up a property who's a real estate developer? The fact that somebody has built a house doesn't make the person a real estate developer.
Randy,
yes.
The people who build houses are what?
No. I'm saying that you, Sam George.
Yes.
The fact that you've put up a building.
Yes.
Does not make you a real estate
developer. If I put up a building for myself, yes. But once I start putting up buildings and selling,
I'm saying
I'm a real estate developer.
A building.
A building, yes.
Even if it's one building,
yes,
and you sell it to somebody, it doesn't make you a real estate developer.
Randy, you are engaging in semantics.
No.
I'm saying to you, okay, wait. Let me, and I will share this with your production. They can put it on the screen. This is from a company called Just Gold Limited, dated May 30, 2018, to the CEO, Codco Limited, East Legon, Accra. That is a real estate developing company. Dear Sir, RE refund acknowledgement. This letter serves as an acknowledgement of payment of 35 million Ghana cedis received in cash, being refund of monies paid to Codco Limited in respect of the following houses which we planned buying from them: House 9, House 10, House 11, House 12, House 13, and apartment. With this, we will inform you that you have paid back all monies given to you in reference of the above. We would like to use this opportunity to say sorry, and we look forward to doing business with you in the future. Which business does refunds of payments in cash? 35 million Ghana cedis.
Is it illegal?
Andy, this is classic money laundering.
No, I'm asking, is it illegal?
Yes.
Is it illegal?
Yes. Okay. You can't move 35 million cedis in cash. As a business, you are refunding. Randy.
Which law?
Randy, for accounting purposes. For accounting purposes, if someone paid you in your business,
I'm not saying it is not irregular or.
So once it's irregular,
it's because you said illegal. That's why I asked which law.
It flouts the bank regulations. Randy, if you go to your bank today, the Bank of Ghana regulation, if you go to your bank today that you want 1 million Ghana cedis, the forms you will fill before they will give you 1 million Ghana cedis. So when a business is paying back, Randy, this is exactly what I described, and this is the classic modus operandi of money laundering.
Okay.
We come to you and say, I want to buy the house. Then the money is transferred to you. Then later I come back and say, I'm not buying again. or I'm selling, refund, and then they pay in cash. Randy, let us ask ourselves, how many real estate developers are paying the requisite taxes to government on property sales? How are they doing KYCs? I keep using the example of the 17-year-old house girl of Cecilia Rapa. How did she buy a house? In cash. And these are the problems we must look. Grader must rather be saluting me for highlighting this and working with us. But like I stated, if they want a fight, I'm going to write to the office of the special prosecutor for him to open an investigation into the operations of Grader and his members. The executive council must better be careful, and members of Grader must want the executive council to be careful.
You are threatening them.
Oh, but they issue threats. I will also. I'm not threatening them. I'm doing my job as a legislator.
Yeah,
as a lawmaker,
you don't need to issue threats to them to do.
If I say I'm notifying them that I will inform the special prosecutor to commence investigation. It's not a threat. I'm doing my job as a public servant. They are the ones who have issued a threat and issued a 7-day ultimatum. A bluff I am calling and asking them to go to court today. They shouldn't wait for 7 days, because I won't apologize today. I won't apologize tomorrow. I will never apologize for this comment. I'm a court.
Okay, all right. I'm sure you didn't understand the last part, but
and I don't want to understand.
You don't want to understand. You have been living in Accra, lecturing in Legon, and doing all the things on Legon campus and its environs, and you are not learning the language. You don't. I won't learn the language.
I said
people like you should report you from Accra.
I didn't say I don't want.
Visa.
Randy, I didn't say I don't want to learn. I said I didn't want to understand what he said. So what is wrong about that?
Have you learned the language? Have you learned the language?
Randy,
incidentally, you also went to school in your region.
Yes, when I went there, I went and learned the language. Proper Ghanaian citizen. Me ba ukro no besua ukasa. Oba mami, oba tabie. Because you are kasa. Besua ukasa. Ana sia me kan ukasa. Oba mami, wiemo. Where gashipo wiemo. Tundangme kakabe no. Wiemo.
The only tell him that if he doesn't stop, Majibo.
Look at.
So, I understand.
Over a minute.
I'll beat you. Randy, yes. So good morning to your good self, Sam George,
right.
Your revered and cherished viewers, my lovely constituents from Kwadaso.
Hey, Primary Siba.
So, yeah, I know Sam George is very passionate about some issues of national relevance. And I think that as a public figure, in as much as you want right things to be done, you know, certain statements must be made with caution, especially when those statements and comments can affect the survival of key institutions in the country. I mean, I didn't hear what he said on Newsfile. I don't know the background, but at least he's giving us what triggered the comment he made. But I think that Grader wouldn't have taken him on if he had given some specifics or if he had clarified what he said. Because if you make a statement so general, then there are some people who are innocent in there. I cannot sit here and say that money laundering is not going on there and other sectors, but you need to be very particular in saying some of these things. Okay, so for me, evidence should have been adduced. Like what he's done here, at least mentioning instances, mentioning cases. I don't think that anybody will have taken him on. So I think moving forward, we need to be mindful of what we say. If you are standing on very cogent evidence, then you are emboldened because you know that what you said, is the truth, okay, and nobody can take you on. So I think this is what I would say about that. I think that instead of saying that I'm not going to apologize or otherwise, that is your choice. But I think that as what you've done this morning, a clarification of this for me is better, okay, than the initial posturing. So I think, I mean, this is what I would say about that. You know, Sam Joy is a strong guy. I've been on programs with him before, at Tinkai and all that. It's Kwame Adinkra also. You know what I mean? So please let us be. Randy, you see, within the public space, we are political actors, and we comment on issues. I mean, what we say can have either of two consequences, positive or negative. So we have to be measured. So I do my best that when I'm making a pronouncement, I have to think deeply before I say. I'm not saying that you don't do that, but I'm saying that because of the repercussions that can affect our own image, the image of the country and some institutions. Because if you say that real estate developers are engaged in money laundering, now social media and a figure like you, if you say something, it goes viral, it goes everywhere. And you don't know which institution will pick it up, whether within or without. That will capital on that to engage in some form of activities against those institutions or the state. So, I mean, I appreciate your passion and all that, but I think that at times we need to be circumspect in our choice of words. And I'm happy about what is done here with the examples and clarification. If Gweda is listening with that, I think they should be at peace.
Randy, just quickly, maybe, and I would not take it to heart because you said you didn't watch the original thing. Because if you did, you'd realize that I didn't make an open statement. I went ahead to place context. When I said there is money, because Samson was the one who said, oh, we know politicians do a lot of money laundering, they put a lot of store in real estate. I said, oh yeah, real estate business, we know there's money laundering in it. And that what people do, then I put the context. What people do is, I have dirty money, I use it to build a house, then another person with dirty money comes to buy off me, and then cleans his money. Then another person who had the same person starts his own building, I go back and buy. So I put it in context what I was referring to as money laundering. It's not as though I just said, they do money laundering and leave it. I put in context what the action that leads to money laundering. So if you are not involved in it, Randy is an example of people saying politicians are thieves. Me, it won't worry me. Because I've been in public office since, 2010, 2011. You cannot find one pesewa of government money that I have misappropriated. So it won't worry me. I don't have $1 million stashed in my house. So it doesn't worry me. You are, well, I don't know if you have $1 million or 500,000. But you see, the point is, if you are also clean, such a statement will not make you issue.
Maybe you guys don't have it in cash, but it's stashed in real estate.
Maybe we should be finding out from him. You know, that would not cause you to get up in arms, because you know that what has been said is a very general statement, but may have some veracity in it, because not all politicians are clean.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Sammy. But you see, the point is that when it is made in a way that affects...
You stop trying to rationalize. Gweda has engaged in poor PR.
Now you are
we should tell them that, look, next time there's an issue of PR professionals. They should engage a PR professional next time they want to issue a statement.
Now you are extending and expanding the frontiers of the argument. You see, Randy, at times certain statements, though you might not be part of those who are engaged in that illegality, but by virtue that you are part of that association, you also suffer collateral damage. Your image, your reputation are impaired. You know what I mean? So
if you're not engaged in money laundering, why are you worried in it? Why are you worried about it?
If you're not engaged in it, okay, that is fine. But in this general sense, you're also implicated. Like as you said, that every politician is a thief. You might not be worried, okay, but What about your family? What about your children? What about your siblings and all that? You see, so I'm saying that
my children. If I'm not a thief, I've trained up my children in the way to go. They won't be thieves. If you don't train your child well and he becomes a thief, it is the responsibility of your child.
It's not as simple as you are saying. You know,
no, it is the responsibility of your child.
Let us be measured.
I mean, Chief, if you want us to deal with the menace of money laundering in our country, let us call it out as it is and stop sugarcoating things.
I mean, with evidence, we can do that. Randy, you raised an issue about aging, you know what I mean, and that caught my attention. Randy, I think that Randy more. Randy, you see,
Randy is sweet.
I think.
Randy, here you're going to Al Hilal.
The offer hasn't come.
The offer hasn't come yet.
Oh, wow. Okay, congrats in advance. Aging is something we are not paying attention to. You know what I mean? We put a lot of premium on youth development and opportunities for for the youth, which for me is very important. But Randy, you can train youth to be what they aspire to be, get all the opportunities and benefits. But one day, all of us will get to the stage of aging. And at times, I wonder about the interventions we are putting in place, to achieve that. You know, in terms of our building, recreational facilities for the aged and all that. University of Ghana, Professor Matekole, who introduced the aging center, was doing so well, but lack of support in terms of funds, and that can also, question what governments are doing to deal effectively with the issue of aging. And I think that there should be a national discourse on that, because one day, you know what I mean, when you cannot climb stairs to, story building you have, you know what I mean, it's painful, but if we are proactive enough, I think we should be able to, come up with interventions in our system that will make aging less burdensome, less worrying, you know what I mean? Because for me, it's scary, Randy, it's scary. Some of us, at times when you are working, even at this age, you realize that at Parliament, I was behind a colleague, not very old, you know what I mean, but using the staircase, I saw the person struggling. And this is somebody I know, very knowledgeable, intelligent, and I think it's a sad spectacle. We need to wake up as a society and deal with, and have particular focus and interest on the aged as well.
That's true. Randall, can I just contribute to that? I agree with Doc largely. I mean, I've got elderly parents. Both my mom and dad are still alive, and I can associate with everything he said, and the fact that as a country we need to have a better policy towards the aged and better safeguards and social safety nets for them, you know, and especially in these times, Randy, because like I said, my parents are still alive. Are your parents still alive?
My mom is alive.
Your mom is alive. Yeah, I'm sure she'll be quite aged. And you know, once you cross a certain age, no matter how well you've taken care of yourself, the body begins to fail, and there are medical conditions you need to deal with. I take care of my parents' medications, and Randy, I know how much it used to cost a year ago, and today I know how much it's costing, and it keeps breaking my heart every time I go to the pharmacy to buy, and you run into another elderly person who's come there, and because of the skyrocketing prices of medication, people are unable to buy their full dosage. He's been given a prescription for 30 days. The cost has gone up from the last time he bought it, and so he's asking to be given half. Some of this medication, you don't take them each other day. You must take it every day, you know. And for me, it is this that must attract the minds of those who control the economy, you know. And a sad spectacle who see a former Chief Justice, for example, and elderly pensioners at the Ministry of Finance picketing over their bonds. These are safety nets they built for themselves. The state didn't build the safety net for them. They built the safety nets for themselves, and then our poor management of the economy has eroded those safety nets. So it is a sad spectacle as a nation that can't take care of its children, doesn't provide for its young and active working population. There are no jobs. Children don't have vaccines, measles and things, standard vaccinations. We can't provide for our children. We have to go borrowing. Then when you manage to survive and get to a working age, there are no jobs. The economy is, inflation is taking off 50% of your earnings. The city is depreciating at exceeding rates. And then when you grow old, the little you had saved, poor economic management wipes it clean. Randy, it is a sad spectacle as a nation. So I agree with Doc that we must, as a nation, begin, especially those who are entrusted with managing our system, make sure that we put in place the right safeguards and safety nets. And if we can't, and people put in their own safety measures, we must protect those safety measures.
All right. So it is said that when you see your neighbor's beard on fire, these days they say you don't only fetch water by your side, but you actually dip your beard into the water.
Which of the water?
Yeah?
Which of the water?
At least the one that is not contaminated by galamsey. That's if you can find some.
If you can find some.
So Niger soldiers declare coup on national TV. Soldiers in the West African country of Niger have announced a coup on national TV. They said they had dissolved the constitution, suspended all institutions, and closed the nation's borders. Niger President Mohamed Bazoum has been held by troops from the Presidential Guard since early Wednesday. That's yesterday. Wow. He was promised Washington's unwavering support in a call from U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres also said he had spoken to the president and offered the UN's full support. Mr. Bazoum is a key Western ally in the fight against Islamist militancy in West Africa. Two neighboring countries, and this is also what caught my attention, Mali and Burkina Faso, have experienced coups triggered by jihadist uprisings in recent years. In both countries, the new military leaders have fallen out with France, the former colonial power, which also formerly ruled Niger. In the TV announcement on Wednesday, Colonel Major Amadou Abdrahmani, alongside 9 other uniformed soldiers behind him, said, quote, "We, the defense and security forces, have decided to put an end to the regime you know. This follows the continuing deterioration of the security situation and poor economic and social governance." He also said that all of the country's institutions had been suspended and that the heads of the ministries will take care of day-to-day business. All external partners are asked not to interfere. Land and air borders are closed until the situation has stabilized. A night curfew will take effect from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. local time until further notice. The soldiers were acting for the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland, CNSP. After Soldiers' TV announcement, Mr. Blinken called for a release of President Bazoum. He told a news conference in New Zealand that what it clearly constitutes is an effort to seize power by force and to disrupt the constitution. And in neighboring Mali, heavily armed Russian Wagner mercenaries are helping the military regime to fight jihadist insurgents. And Niger's unrest comes on top of existing Western anxiety about Wagner's operations and the Sahel region's instability. Okay, and we're told that President Putin, keen to expand Russian influence in Africa, is hosting African leaders in St. Petersburg today. Now, President Akufo-Addo is asking West Africans to reject all forms of military takeovers within the ECOWAS jurisdiction. He says the unconstitutional way of changing governments across the sub-region should not be tolerated. And this admonishment comes a day after media reports suggest an attempted military takeover has occurred in Niger. And speaking at the 147th Independence Day celebration of Liberia, President Akufo-Addo says insecurity in West Africa must come to an end to help drive the needed development. Quote, "It is incumbent that we all stand together in our generation to defeat the menace of coups and guarantee the peace and stability which are essential to the rapid economic development of our areas, which is the surest way to banish poverty in our time. And in the same vein, we must reiterate our commitment to democratic governance in the ECOWAS space and reject all unconstitutional changes of government." Okay, so the AU also says that the soldiers' action is unacceptable. We are still monitoring what is actually happening there. But yesterday, I got this from a newspaper, and it's a letter, and I want to read that. A letter, you know the newspaper columns where you have the letters. A letter to the military high command. And it says, the fundamentals are broken, the basics are non-functional, the roots are shattered, the rudiments of scope of work are fractured and have become non-imperative. The elements have been made to suit the whims and caprices of few individuals, in quotes. To wit, if you sell your father's land to buy a trumpet, where will you stand to blow it? The thin line we seem to be threading on. 1. Let a big man know we are gradually growing an army devoid of passion and servitude. 2. Let a big man know our training schools have become a dome where trainees determine how they want to be trained. 3. Let a big man know our recruitment process only churns out folks, in quotes, looking for employment, while those ready and willing to serve are sidelined. 4. Let a big man know we are increasing female participation in the workforce, yet the workload is still same, because our, in quote, female ladies have been arguably relegated to the various cookhouses, orderly rooms, and messes only. Emphasis on arguably. 5. Let the big man know physical fitness is now underrated in the service. A soldier who is unfit, I'm yet to see a newscaster who can't speak good English. Caught the irony? 6. Let a big man know there are soldiers who haven't held rifles, least to talk of firing past 5 years now. In case of emergencies, we are an army, certainly not a security service. 7. Let the big man know conditions of work and terms of service are fast deteriorating, the reason for the upsurge in AWOL cases. 8. Let the big man know the future of the armed forces doesn't look promising. We've not recruited but employed a brigade of hungry-looking workers, in quotes, only after the 15th joy, in quotes. 9. Let the big man know our armories are half filled with faulty weapons, our artilleries can't fire, our armors can't move. Let the big man know the ceremonials, in quotes, are too much. 10. Let the big man know a lot is happening that I can't possibly pen down in this write-up because I love my life, in quotes. If the foundation of a building isn't strong, great is its destruction. To overcome some of these menaces, let's first check how we enlist people, how they are trained, how they finally join us, and how they begin their early years of service. Ghana certainly deserves better. Gracias. And I read this. Now,
is there an author's name to it?
No, of course.
Very good.
There won't be a name.
And which newspaper is that?
I would actually give you the details. Yeah, the details with the phone numbers and everything later on. Now, for those of you, both of you are in Parliament. I'm sure that you've also had a lot of briefing, especially about our, do we call it our northern borders?
Yes.
Yes, especially with the Burkina situation and all that. Now and then, we get some of these alerts and warnings from the national security outfit, and we actually know some of the things that are happening and all that. Is there a reason to be worried or to be extra vigilant or to begin to rethink how we are doing things in this country, or there's no cause for alarm?
No, Mandy, I don't even know how to proceed because the editorial you've read, because I don't know its source, the newspaper.
It's actually, it's not an editorial, it's like a letter to the newspaper.
Yeah. So, and it appears scary, but see, before you pen down some of these things that create anxiety on the minds of those who get opportunity to read them, I mean, you should situate whatever, I mean, you are writing within the context with evidence, especially something that deals with our security architecture, the military. Because I remember there was a committee of the whole where the top echelon of the security services came and briefed us in the House. And the assurances they gave us were not looking bad.
Assurances about
our security.
Okay.
I remember I also filed a question, and the Minister for Interior came to once. I asked him a question about security of the nation and threats of terrorism and all that. And I even asked him whether there has been an incident of terrorist attack on our country, and he came and said that is no, but they are doing everything possible to ensure that we are safe. And equipment that they were about to procure and all that. For me, the assurances were refreshing. Okay, but Randy, I mean, because Niger is close to our northern border, Burkina Faso and Mali, we know what has happened there. And if we are not careful as a country, our actions and inactions, the things that we say, the impression that we create about the economy and all that, if you're not careful, some people might take the law in their hands and do what is needless and unexpected. But we have confidence and believe in our security services, and this government, has done a lot in terms of resourcing our security services, equipment, ammunition, and housing that that have been built for them. He's talking about, the writer was talking about the conditions of service, but didn't tell us, whether there is stagnation or give us evidence for us to interrogate, because we are all patriots in this country, and we mean and wish well for those who put their lives in harm's way. Okay, so for me, specifics will help us to deal with the issues frontally, with candor and all that. Otherwise, speculations, innuendos, suspicion, these are hot fuel, needless attacks on our country. And who told you, who told us that military adventurism is a panacea or the panacea to our economic difficulties? We live in this country, we've seen them before, and we can safely conclude that those days weren't the best of days. I was born and grew up in the barracks. At least I saw some of the military takeovers. I saw the days that we were under curfew. You couldn't go anywhere on the 6 p.m. You have to sleep. Life came to a standstill. And we cannot do a comparative analysis and say that those times were better than now. So, I have sympathy for the Nigerians, and I think that the time has come for Africans, especially those within sub-Saharan Africa, to be careful about how we go about our countries in terms of military takeovers. These don't help. If there are issues, we need to sit down and see how pragmatically we can address our issues. That is how we have to go. Otherwise, we do these things and you go back centuries. How many times the developed countries, can you tell us how many times they've done these things? But they're making progress. It is how we build sectors of economy, how we build our education system, how we build the economy, okay, the agricultural sector. The state actors, how do we build them? How do we ensure that the economy is resilient in terms of providing factories and industries, to help the youth get sustainable jobs? How do we ensure that these things, when they are done, how do we ensure that our justice system is credible, dispensation of justice is fair, and all that, so that the citizens will have confidence in state institutions? This is how we need to build our country. And I want to applaud our security services for how they have helped all of us to sustain this current democracy. 30 years of democratic governance or so, I think it is refreshing. Let us nurture it.
If you flip the coin,
the
Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, of many of the things that he says, says that I find quite profound, as this one where he says that a country that has a growing population of people who have nothing to lose stands in danger. A country that has a growing population of people who have nothing to lose stands in danger. You know, and if we face reality, we would realize that whether we are looking at data from the Statistical Service, we are following the polls, especially when people have to speak about their well-being and economic fortunes and all that. And from observation, what we see, if we're even looking at the increasing numbers of those we see in traffic on the road, obviously, and for those of you who are even involved in elections and walk the nooks and crannies of this country, there is that growing army. Now, for persons who have nothing to lose, some of these things perhaps don't make sense to them.
Yeah.
I hope you understand what I'm saying. Some of these things do not make sense to them. Now, I also hold the view that those of us who have something to lose have a certain responsibility, a greater responsibility, to ensure that we will give hope to those, the growing army of those who have nothing to lose, not just by words, but with our deeds. Because the experiential is the most important. You understand me? Because at the end of the day, we have a lot more to lose than those who have nothing to lose.
But
if I get up this morning, before I take any action, there are many considerations that I have to make. Same as you, same as Sam. But is this the same as many of those other people, that growing army? So when we are in the privileged class, so to speak, and we also realize that we have more to lose, that should influence the kind of decisions that we make.
Yeah, Randy, so let me try to situate the revered Archbishop Duncan Williams' statement within a certain pragmatic context.
Right.
Those who have nothing to lose.
Yes.
Everybody, no matter what happens, everybody will lose something.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes.
Randy, those...
But I'm sure that you appreciate the context within your statement.
But
a person doesn't have a place to stay. He doesn't have something.
I agree.
That is what is meant by they have nothing. You will look at a career. You will look at probably maybe property. You will look at family.
Even
you look at many other things and decide that I will not take this action. Somebody else has nothing to consider.
But those who think that they have nothing to lose must also respectfully understand that those who are seen to be in a certain privileged class probably might have their situation worse than their situation now. You didn't become Randy overnight. Some didn't become Sam overnight, like myself. If I should tell you what I've done in life before, things that I've done, being a carrier, those times, okay, selling ice water, even when I was at secondary school and all that. But you see, life, you see, so again, those people, you think you have nothing to lose. But that potential in you, time and space, are very important to bring those potentials and talents to the benefit of yourself, your family, and the country at a point if we exercise restraint. I also think that as a society, we need to do more. Our inability to have done more shouldn't be a guarantee for others to use that as a platform to do something that will negatively affect the future of this country. Because if you are not dead or incapacitated, you don't know what the future holds for you. Anything is possible in this life. There are some people who were wretched, who thought they had nothing, the despised and others, who knew them. So if you think that you have nothing to lose, please wait a second and think twice. Because probably that unraveled talent now might be lost if you take that angle. But if you're able to wait, that unraveled talent might be beneficial to yourself, in your inner circle, and society. I want to pray with all of us that no matter the state of our economy now, or economies around the world, we should continue to build structures, we should continue to build capacity, we should continue to do things that will unite the people. Right? Some of us, we are not very old, but at least we are quite old. Ghana today is not the same as Ghana in the late 80s. Ghana today is not the same as Ghana in the early 90s. There have been some positive transformations. The negatives are there, but as a society, as a state, the question is, what do we have to do to ensure that the gap is reduced so that inequalities will come down a bit to help us all? For me, that is my approach in life. The fact that maybe I'm a member of parliament today, that there's somebody sitting somewhere in my constituency or elsewhere who, because of the endowment in their lives, even from Kwadaso, might even do more than I'm doing today. So let us continue to build this, our democracy. Since 1992, Randy, we've come a bit far.
Are we not creating the impression to those people out there that we have created a system that only benefits a few and not everybody?
I will admit that we can do more, but I don't know that our system benefits a few. I don't know the context, but as a developing society, you normally see bottom heavy within the working class. That is everywhere. You know, I mean, if you go to the US, you go to even South Africa, you realize that, I mean, it is bottom heavy when it comes to challenges and all that. Okay, but the quest of every government is to ensure that this inequality, is bridged. Okay, and at times, it takes time. For me, let us continue on the right track as we strengthen our education system, as we build our human capacity and all that. We'll get there. One day, I see our case of today, having a lot of potentials than our time. You just sit down with your kids. The kind of things you do with your kids, the opportunities that your kids have, and all that, and not only about those in the middle and upper classes. If you go to the working class, the exposure and all that, okay, people have now come to understand that they need to do more in terms of education. The sacrifices that they are making all there. Our parents all did sacrifice for us. My father was a soldier, a sergeant. At that time, he didn't have anything. My mother was a civil servant at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, okay? So, but she had to work so hard. I remember she used to sell eggs over the weekend and at least to get money to support some of us. That is where we are. But if we think that life is just so simple and that You want to be like Randy Abbott, now you want to be like King Senyako or Sam George. At times, that's an illusion. It's, for me, hard work and diligence on our part, and government also providing the enabling environment for the youth, for businesses to grow and thrive. That is how we'll be able to carry everybody along in building a formidable, a more robust and progressive and transformational society.
Are we doing that?
Randy, we are doing that. The pace might be slow, but Randy, I mean, you agree with me that, Randy, just let us compare the 90s and now. Accra, the first time I came to Accra was in 1987 or 88. I remember those times I could walk from Circle to the ministries. Okay, I didn't see any interchange here. At that time, Sankara Circle was not even there. Okay, the one at the mall wasn't there, you know what I mean? You see some nice things happening. You also see difficulties. So we should be able to address the difficulties. But if we think that because of the challenges now, we need to take the law into our own hands and let the military come in. But I'm saying that examples abound. History shows us that those periods didn't help this country moving forward.
Right.
So, respectfully, let us come together. I mean, we can raise issues, we can criticize and all that. But if you're able to do this in circumspection, okay, and respect for the soul, spirit, and survival of this country, I think that, Randy, we'll be able to make progress. But at times, the nature of our politics, you want to undo each other, so you poison the atmosphere. I mean, you engage in propaganda and all that, twisting facts to your advantage. I mean, if you are careful, you get what you want. But at the end of the day, we are creating the platform for something that we might regret in future. And before I end, some issues, I mean, increased cost of drugs. Yeah, I buy drugs and I've seen that drugs have increased. And I think that we need to empower, I mean, pharmaceutical companies to be able to do more. But I'm also happy about the Vaccine Institute. I'm sure that if you're able to invest in the Vaccine Institute, we should be able to get vaccines and drugs comparatively cheaper to benefit our people. Randy, you know, when we did the debt restructuring, you remember that those who had bonds, I mean, some those who didn't opt for the new DDEP, those who didn't, but maintain their previous bonds, even though their payments, their coupons were delayed, they were paid. They are astounding. I remember those who were supposed to mature in January, February, March, April, and so were able to get theirs. I went to make inquiries in one of the banks, and they told me that they were delayed, but some have been paid. You know what I mean? So I raise the issue about aging, and I think that we need to broaden the discussion and see what we can meaningfully do to help the aged and the elderly. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So the newspapers are daybreak newspaper.
They are. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
So we'll take a break. When we return, we'll take Sam George's perspectives on this issue. Action.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Attention homeowners and property seekers, get ready for an extraordinary experience at the Mikasa Home and Property Fair 2023. Come and meet over 50 top developers, home loan specialists, home improvement specialists, and expand your knowledge at our insightful seminars with industry experts. There will also be so much fun for the kids at our children's arena. Date 5th and 6th August 2023. Venue Mervyn Pick Ambassador Hotel. Time 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. each day. Admission is absolutely free. Headline sponsor Gold Key Properties. Platinum sponsors Val Real Estate and Clifton Homes. Supporting sponsors Swami India Ghana Limited. Media partner Asase Radio. To exhibit at the fair, contact us on 050-1680-737 or visit mikasa.com.
Stand to win your share of up to 10 million Ghana cedis in prizes with Betway's Scratch and Win. You can earn your first scratch card by playing table games, slots, or quick games. Scratch and reveal a range of exciting prizes from smartphones to fuel vouchers and more. Visit www.betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302-540-668 or 0501-678-547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
JA Plant Food Ghana Limited has introduced the all-new Jetto X70 Plus to the market. Jetto X70 Plus is a modern, spacious family SUV with a stylish design, advanced technology, and outstanding quality that promises you luxury with affordability. Jetto X70 Plus comes with an exceptional engine warranty of 4 years or 100,000 kilometers, giving you the ultimate peace of mind for years to come. And our dedicated service center at J Plant Pool offers you a wide range of car services and world-class customer support. Be exclusive and outstanding. Get yourself the all-new Jetto X70 Plus. Get in touch with J Plant Pool Ghana Limited on 020-0000-831 or info@jplantpoolgh.com. Visit jplantpoolgh.com for more information.
My son, there's more blessing in giving than receiving. When you fear for you and couple the makers in
The pneumatological aberration of the Lord revealed unto me this night that me and my household should go out into the world and bless the world.
Makers Electronics Company Limited. Up to 67% discount. Our selected appliances.
This is what I call quintessential immaculatability.
The Makers Electronics Company Limited. Taifa Burkina Highway. Amasama Zongo Junction. At the K Pharmacy Dining. Oyer Fateman Boga Junction. Ashaman Valco Flat. Kumasi. Ahinema Kokobin. Asafu Wachi Hospital Junction. Sakradi. Number 9 Market.
Tell mom and dad about the Makers Blessing Attack program.
From 0552 222 253 and 0552 222 254. Terms and conditions apply. The same got to move.
So welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have Associate Professor Kingsley Nyako. Yes, and yes, and the legislative pugilistic
controversial
communicator.
I know controversial.
What is controversial?
I know controversial.
I'm simply principled. I'm not controversial. I'm simply
Samuel Nate George, who fortunately has a very sweet mother. Anyway,
give me her heart pressure almost every day. Give me the mother.
Are you my mother's doctor? I'm my mother's doctor. I rebuke you in Jesus' name. You are projecting people from my mother.
I won't say amen.
Monkey no fine, my mama like her.
He's watching this morning as always.
Anyway, so well, there's up to 67% discount on selected appliances, and you could have products from Samsung, LG, Moved, NASCO, TCL Media, and Toshiba, and this is made possible by the Makers Electronics Company Limited. They are giving you up to 67% discount on all these items. Very quality but affordable items, a 2 years manufacturer defect warranty. And so you can visit the showrooms of the Makers Electronics Company Limited at Taifa Burkina Highway, Amasaman Zongo Junction, Orefa Tem and Boga Junction, Kaswa New Market, Ashaman Valco Flat, Kumasi Ahenema Kokobing, Takrade Fiekuma number 9 Market. Or you can reach the Makers Electronics Company Limited on 055-2222223 or 055-2222254. The Makers Electronics Company Limited, large and in charge with quality by affordable home appliances and consumer electronics. Terms and conditions apply. I wonder why I didn't patent the large and in charge. Everybody's using it, huh? I can't lay claim to anything. Anyway, now, in line with what we were discussing, there's some 2 text messages that I want to look at, and I think that they capture the essence of our discussions a bit. Now, this is from my my ADR and mediation lecturer, the Honorable Austin Game.
Hey, and I hear his son is one of the leading AI people. So Honorable, I'm going to be reaching out to your son very soon. I hear he's one of the leading AI gurus.
But the Game is in your constituency, the new site.
Oh really?
Yes, in your constituency.
No,
you have to go.
I'll go there.
I was supposed to help out. I could only go once.
Oh, fantastic!
My schedules.
Honorable, you have come into the territory. I've not responded.
Game is now. It's not there.
That's what I'm saying. You should let me know so I can also boast that I'm the MP of a big man.
Yes. So their own sites, their own school complex. It's done extremely well.
Oh, nice.
Honorable Game has done very well. So he says, great discussion about the Niger situation. Whereas it is important to continue with civilian-led democracy, the level of inclusion is very low, and opportunities are too narrow and limited. If we can endeavor to work together honestly in the management of the national economy and welfare, as in Article 36(1), we can prevent appetite for military takeovers. The growing army of the unemployed is worrying and requires urgent attention. That's his view on this issue. I think that he captures everything. Now, this has been sent to me by one of our viewers. Okay, he didn't put his name there. But let me read exactly what is written. It says, good morning, Doc. Doc, I finished school in 2012, and up till now, I haven't been able to secure any job in this country. It has been pure struggle to survive. Unemployed, but I must eat. Unemployed, but I must treat myself when I'm ill. Unemployed, but I have to cater for my mom and siblings. Unemployed, but when I buy an item in the market, I must pay tax. Unemployed and finding it very difficult to survive. Yet you see people, and listen to this carefully, you see people, political class, in brackets, who are supposed to use my taxes judiciously for the benefit of all, rather misapplying it. Can't even afford a trotro fare, but you see some politicians wasting our taxes on things that are not priority for the masses. I've been unemployed for the past 11 years in my own country. A political party wins power. Someone gets appointed into a certain position, and in less than 3 years, the person acquires a mansion, buys 2 cars, lives a luxurious life, and throws money here and there. Do you know the thoughts start to be running in the minds of people who have been unemployed for 11, 15, and 20 years? We must be careful in this country. And that's how he ends it. But Sam, there's a text from now Dr. Manche Bruce. Yes, he's been doctor.
He's been doctor.
Yeah, for almost 2 years now.
Manche, I know we have Abraham.
He says, please extend my warmest felicitations to Nenenati. God isn't done with him yet. His anti-LGBTQ plus fight has won the hearts of many, including my very self. And we'll continue to stand with him and all who support the fight in our prayers. So that's Manche Bruce II.
Manche Bruce.
Takrady Technical University.
Yeah.
Dr. Manche Bruce.
Can put the Western region matter of
It's always been there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I think he now heads a faculty or something.
Oh wow. Good.
Yes, sir.
Randy. Like I said off air, this matter is a tough one for me to discuss because of its sensitive nature. the sub-region.
Sam, just hold on. I'm sorry I have to interrupt you. There's something that we need to do quickly, but we'll come back to this issue. And it has to do with the allies and the situation with the IPPs. We're told that there's a crunch meeting coming up. Our debt is over $2.3 billion. $3 billion. And I have Ben Boachi, the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, joining us on Zoom. I need to do this with him. Good morning, Ben, and thanks for coming on the show.
Good morning, Doc.
Yes,
Thanks for having me.
Right. Okay, so going through my newsreel and checking my news stuff, and then I see my brother Ben's name there. What is the story? I get scared again. You say that there's supposed to be an emergency meeting today with the Chamber of Independent Power Producers over a $2.3 billion debt. And the key thing is that despite assurances and the continuation of power production in July after the June 30 deadline, it appears that agreements made during the engagements have been breached, much to the disappointment of the IPPs. And you are urging government to reach an amicable resolution with the power producers to avert any power cuts. It looks and feels like we're riding our luck.
Incredible stuff. So, I mean, we spoke about this a couple of weeks back. And at the time, the debt was around 1.7, billion. And suddenly we're told it's over 2.2 or 2.3 billion dollars. So it is actually growing, and we seem not to have a hold on how we reverse the situation. So I understand why there is a meeting today to try and see how that will be resolved. We need to really find a solution to this problem. And as I indicated, the entire economy and budget of Ghana becomes unsustainable if we keep piling debts in the energy sector the way we are doing. We're going to be denied all the critical investment that we should expect from government. Already, the public is just paying so much for the energy sector debt and its inefficiencies. If you look at on petroleum products alone, we have debt, levies for legacy debts. We have levies for the Delta, which is supposed to also go to pay the IPPs. We don't know where that money goes to. In advanced countries, you tax petroleum products to provide good services, rail services, bus services, so that the vulnerable in society can be protected, so that you can provide transportation to fuel the economy, because people need to move from one point to the other for the economy to run. But in our case, we pay levies, we pay taxes on petroleum product to sustain inefficiency. Even that, debt is still piling. And I think this is really a sad situation, and I hope that this meeting comes up with a solution. The promise to deliver a plan according to the IMF program by end of June, it didn't happen. We haven't seen the ESRP phase 2, which would have laid out a plan for us to avert the situation. So we have been delaying in planning to be able to deal with this matter. But as we have it, the debt keeps growing, and how we pay for it remains the conundrum for all of us.
Now, Ben, I recall that when the June 30 deadline was given, we were told about some meetings that government had had with the IPPs and some payments that had been made to them. We were even we had some figures and all that. I mean, 2 months ago we were talking about 1.7 billion. Today we are talking about 2.3 billion. What really is happening?
I think there wasn't much paid to the IPPs. I think there was a standing agreement, to respect their recurrent accruals and be able to defray them as they come. But the reality hasn't really lived up to the promise. And, the debt is growing. And I think that is the reality. All of us thought that ECG had some big money, they gave to the IPPs. It turns out that it wasn't money, but it was a promise with little payments to them. And that has not been enough to actually keep the IPPs comfortable. And that is why I don't know whether they threatened again, but the Ministry of Finance saw the need to call for a meeting for them to address the issues. And I'm hoping that out of that meeting will be a plan that all of us can trust to take us out of the woods.
How does the legacy debt stand unretired when we're still collecting ESLA? There ought to have been a correlation between the ESLA proceeds and the legacy debt.
Yeah, it's also another thing. The ESLA proceeds, the original plan was for us to retire the legacy debt with the ESLA. So the banks were in charge of that arrangement. At some point, government decided that they rather want to borrow from the bond market to pay the debt owners and then move the debt to the bond market. So essentially what we did was to just change ownership of the debt, right? And ever since, we have kept the debt sitting on the bond market to the extent that at some point, what the ESLA could only do was to pay coupons, and not actually amortize the principal. So the ESLA, as we have it, we're just paying coupons with the levies that we are collecting, and the debt sits. Before the debt restructuring, I think that the balance was over 8 billion Ghana cedis. I have to check how much that has come to after giving the haircuts, right? But still, there are debts, with ESLA PLC that we'll have to keep paying coupons on. So maybe the IMF program will be able to deal with it. I'm not sure. But without that, we will keep paying for God knows how long that ESLA levy, because it's not able to actually tackle the debt itself, but only addressing interest payments on the debt. And on top of that, more debt is being created through ECG and NEDCO. And therefore, government has to intervene at all times.
Now, Dr. Kingsley Nyaku has a question for you, and then I'll continue the discussion.
So Ben, nice one. So, do you know how much we realize from ESLA yearly? That's the first question. And number two, the debt has ballooned from $1.7 billion to $2.3 billion. What has occasioned that?
The ESLA numbers, I will have to check. I mean, this year, I haven't done anything ESLA. But the last count, the collection was about 2.5 billion Ghana cedis a year. So I would imagine that that would increase because consumption increases. And once consumption increases and the levy is on a litter, you would expect more revenue to come to the ESLA. The accumulation essentially is the inability of ECG to collect revenues or bill the entire power consumed and be able to pay the IPP. So for example, if you buy power for $1 million and already your inefficiencies, that is your commercial and technical loss, is about 30%. What it means is that you can only account for 700,000 of the 1 million power that you bought. And then on top of that also, the people that you bill, your ability to collect the revenues from them also determines how much revenue in reality you would get. And that also, ECG was doing about 70, 80% of that. So that translates cumulatively to about 50% of the revenue requirement. So that means that there is a significant shortfall that has to be paid for by usually government that guarantees the IPPs and there's participation in the industry. So that has really been the trend. And we have seen that trend even weakens over the period with the data that we have seen. I haven't seen recent data on the cash waterfall mechanism, but what we saw for March and April, we could only do 11.2% of the revenue requirements to the value chain. So that means that close to 89% of the revenue requirement is outstanding. Essentially, the revenue requirement for that period was about 3.8 billion. We could only pay about 430 million Ghana cedis. So that is how significant the shortfall is and the gap is. So if IPPs are talking about 2.2 billion, we are not even talking about gas yet. The power is also generated using gas, and the gas has been consumed for power generation, but we're still not able to pay for it. And my last check was that we had an outstanding debt of close to $600 million also sitting and waiting for government to pay. You might have seen recently WACO also threatening to shut down. In fact, they did shut down their valves to GNPC because the reverse flow that they were doing, GNPC was not paying for it, and therefore they had to shut down. There are still outstanding conversations on the payment because some of the promises are not delivered in there. I understand this week GNPC had to step in to say that even if ECG is not bringing money, they want to pay WACO some money to be able to keep the gas flowing from the west to the east. One thing to note even is that whilst we are struggling to address these challenges, more challenges are coming on board because over the period we've had free gas from the Jubilee field. So even if the power sector did not pay for it, which for me is unfortunate, because that's an economic value that we have lost to inefficiencies and people stealing power. We've lost all that revenue, 200 given to us free by the Jubilee partners. We fled some of them, we have abused some of them in the power sector, and now that has run out. So going forward, we have to pay for that gas. And I understand that last week they negotiated the gas price of $2.9 per MMBTU to be paid to Jubilee, right, the partners. So that brings it to close to $7 to $9 million a month, a bill that will also come to add to the problems that we have at this point. So you think through all of this on a daily basis, and you have to ask yourself deeply, how do we get out of this?
Right. Okay. Sam George also has a question.
Yeah. Ben, morning. I just wanted to find out from you, would our situation have been better if the $1 billion that was part of the 3 billion euro bond taking in 2019 that Parliament approved to offset energy sector levies, if that had been utilized judiciously in paying off some of this debt, we would be in a better position today?
I think so. I think what government was trying to do with that was to use the 1 billion to buy some of the assets. So you have IPPs that have what we call put call option. So each party can withdraw and the other pays for the investment. So government essentially was trying to buy back some of the IPPs. So even if you decide to shelve the plans for future use or discount, the amortization cost, then you make savings by doing so. So that was the route that government chose. And we even thought that was late in the day. We could have done that way earlier when we had those agreements. Even when the construction had begun, you could have halted some of the construction, pay them, even if you had to pay $50 million. It made sense than waiting for 300, 400 million, debt to crystallize a year. But that was still a good attempt to just refinance essentially some of the project and then decide what you do with it. So they were using GIF as a vehicle to do that. So GIF was going to buy into some of the power plants like Early Power and I think Send Power, just to buy them and pay the banks so that you then control when you use the plant and what you pay for at any particular time. But sadly, that didn't happen, and we still don't know where the money is.
Ben, are you suggesting that the 1 billion was not utilized for this purpose?
No, it wasn't. I thought they used it to even pay the IPPs when government was paying. But recently, I think I heard one minister was on your show or somewhere say that Bank of Ghana swept it. So we don't know. I don't know where that 1 billion is. It wasn't used so all the renegotiations that we talked about in the past, that was what it was to achieve. So you are renegotiating, and then you refinance the power plants, so you have control over them, and then decide so that this IPP payments would have reduced if we own the plants or GIF has significant interest in those projects. Then we could decide how we amortize that investment going forward. But it didn't happen.
Look, Ben, the reality is that we are beyond broke. We can't pay. We owe almost everybody in every sector. The last time I was reading those who sew sports jerseys and uniforms complaining. Those who supply foodstuffs are complaining. Those who cook the food are complaining. We owe pensioners. We owe people who are in active service. The middle class is virtually being wiped off with DDEP. There are negotiations with the pension funds, even over monies of those who are in employment today. The reality, cocoa bills, those who just bought February and were expecting maturity in August at 32 point something, they've been told that it will be spread up to 2028. You can only get 5% this year. We owe just everybody. We are just broke. The reality is that we won't be able to pay. And it is therefore not surprising that the promises that were made on the basis of the June 30 deadline have not been met. Realistically, how do we get out of this hole?
I don't even know from where I sit. But we all have to engage. We need to see the true picture. I mean, where we sit, we don't have the full picture. We see the danger, but we need to have the full picture. And that's why we keep saying that let's have a conversation on the challenges of our country. Let people contribute to it. I mean, so that all of us can share ideas on how we get out of this. Not for finance ministry or a government to keep churning out directives, instructions, policy actions that keeps failing over time. The more we discuss and think through the issues, the right solution will emerge. And I think at this point, we cannot assume that one person has the solution to fix our problem, but our ability to be genuine on the conversation and seek, input from everybody else and let the data speak, put out the right data so that we can actually interrogate it and look at where the problem is. And all of us, I'm sure, I mean, we are capable as Ghana, to find solution to these problems. But you don't have clear data on what is happening in the space. One morning you are told that revenue has shot up, and then you note that even payments to the value chain has declined. How inconsistent is that? We need to really speak to the right data and find solution out of this. But I think a major problem really is how we collect revenue, and we can't tarry longer. We now need to hang our boots and hand over this to the private sector. And in our last brief, we had maintained that even if we don't want foreign investors into the distribution of electricity, let's stop it. Let's stop government taking our pension funds and allow the pension funds to take over the distribution of electricity and manage it from there so that we can cut the politics that breeds the inefficiencies that have brought us where we are today. I don't know whether that will be considered, but at that critical level of the value chain, we need investment. We need to fix it like yesterday.
Ben, you've made this point in our previous discussions that because of potential losses, the IPPs prefer to continue to produce and to be owed than to shut down. It appears that we're riding our luck on this. How far can we continue in this direction?
It shouldn't continue. You see, that is the tricky bit. Once it continues, it has wider implications for investment. Right? An investor wants to come and put in a plant in Ghana and generate whatever value or produce any commodity. And the conversation in Ghana is the stability of the grid, and how the IPPs could cut power at any point for non-payment. And the conversation is that inefficiency is growing, and that the inefficiency will find its way into the tariff. That investor cannot calibrate, his long-term revenue stream when, power costs cannot be predictable or cannot be modeled, very accurately. So that conversation has implication for investment attraction in Ghana. So we may be lucky keeping the light on, but on the wider scale, the country is losing on many fronts because there's so much uncertainty in the fuel that grows the economy, and people cannot accurately predict the tariff and whether the power will be stable in the short to medium term. And it also affects our ability to attract, cheaper power, because people talk about, take or pay. Take or pay is a function of risk, right? The investor knows that there is a risk. There's potential that you will not be paid. So you need somebody to guarantee that you will get your money, all right? So if the risk persists and actually escalates, it will even get much more stringent to get somebody to agree to build a power plant in Ghana. So these are the risks that we are subjecting our country to. And the earlier we address that with all the energy we have, and not think that because there is gas, there is power plants, they will generate at least in the short to medium term, but it has wider implications.
Thanks, Ben, for your time as always, and I'm sure I'll get in touch with you for a more extensive discussion. But thanks for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so that's Ben Boakye, Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, ACEP, and we'll wait and see what happens as far as this meeting between government and the IPPs today is concerned. But it's really scary out there. But Sam, back to the issue.
Yeah, right. Just before we go to that issue, you see, on the issues of revenues, and you asked a question about ESLA. Edward Barr just provided some information about 2021 ESLA receipts as reported to Parliament. It was 6.3 billion.
6.3 billion cedis
for 2021, which is equivalent to $1 billion US dollars at the time. Yeah. In 2021, the exchange rate was around 6. So it just shows that we're not really putting good use to the revenues. Because if you had collected applying the money well,
we said we were taking the money for.
Because if you got $1 billion from ESLA in 2021 alone, we shouldn't be sitting where we are sitting.
I know, but we should also find out how much coupon was the 6.3 billion used to defray. Because he said that the ESLA proceeds are used to pay coupons on the principal. So we need to find out how much. For
it's clear the management is just not right.
If the money from the bonds are used to retire the debt, then
the debt should be
even if the ESLA proceeds are used to pay for the coupons, we should see a reduction in
the principal amount.
I mean, all that he said, for me, I think bottom line is that the inefficiencies, I'm how to get the revenue, for me, is very critical. State agencies are owing ECG and all that. If you read the Auditor General's report, chunk of the debt are owed by state institutions, the ministries and all that. So I think ECGs should enhance her operations on debt recovery.
Did you hear what he said about the cash waterfall mechanism?
Yes.
Under the auspices of the Vice President, that for March and April, the revenue that they reported was about 18%.
18%.
18%. So if you have provided revenue that can only pay for, that constitutes only 18%, then for the 72%. Yeah, the 82%. I mean, that then becomes what? Debt.
Liability.
It then increases your debt and all that.
And you know, in the sector now, you see, we're talking about ECG, but in the sector now, you actually even have VRA as a player now going after ECG's customers, and it's not having a commensurate effect on the cash waterfall mechanism, because then revenue that would have come to ECG for ECG to service its debt is now going directly to VRA and Gridco. I have a similar situation in my constituency, B5. B5 has VRA approached them and said, we'll give you a lower tariff than ECG.
Yeah, but why wouldn't they do that if they have become victims of ECG's inefficiency? Yes.
Because the inefficiency in ECG right now, the losses are around 30%. The PDS deal was supposed, the arrangement with the Millennium, is it MIDA or MCA or whatever, was supposed to make sure that ECG dropped to a position of losses of 8%.
So you guys in Parliament and your government assurances and everything, government brings you a memorandum for approval to go and borrow 3 billion from Eurobond. And in the memorandum, we are told that 1 billion is for the energy sector. And till today, this is 4 years now, you have not bothered to let the finance minister explain how come in the memorandum 1 billion out of the 3 billion was for the energy sector, yet.
The problem is when government assurances is chaired by a member of the governing party. You see, that's the problem of that architecture.
Perhaps even through an urgent question.
There are other options that we can use. Some,
because you mentioned government assurances,
You see, my point is that when the executive can always get away with this,
they'll keep doing it.
Because they bring a memorandum and everybody looks at it, and even if you disagree with a loan, you look at the memorandum and what is going to be used for.
You can't say no.
On the basis of that,
you allow it to
decide
go.
not to say no.
Ben,
only for it to be spent on
something else.
You see, Ben, I respect him so much. I mean, he's a sharp guy. You know, the question Sam George asked him about this $1 billion, he said, I mean, he is not aware whether it has been used. So as they are going for,
no, he said it's not being.
He said it's not being used. He was specific.
No,
he was clear.
He said
that it wasn't used for its intended purpose.
Yeah.
He was clear on that.
So when they go for the meeting, he needs to find out.
No, he's not part of the meeting. He's not part of IPPC.
The ministry.
But the meeting is going to speak about how they're dealing with debt.
If it has not been used, we need to know why it has not been used. If it has been used for a different purpose.
No, you should. You Parliament should. Because the memorandum was brought to you.
No, but no, the point I'm making is that there's going to be a discussion today. Okay. He asked the question and he's saying that he is not aware that.
All right.
Let me make my comments on the security.
So let's wrap up on the security one. But I have this text. It's from Daniel Banwoko of the Center for Indigenous Knowledge and Organizational Development.
Okay.
And it says, a good morning to both of you. It says he admires Sam George a lot from a distance. It says, I recently made a presentation at Powers Region on insecurity and counter-terrorism. In my presentation, I shared insights from a book by Serge Mikhailov titled Africanistan, Development of Jihad. The book suggests that while progress in Africa can be seen across the board, everyday migrants are dying in the Mediterranean. The continent is in fact a powder keg. The powder is demographics and the detonator is unemployment. What is worrying for the continent is even more dramatic for the Sahel, a huge region of about 100 million inhabitants, where insecurity is spreading and may act as a detonator for West Africa with a population of 700 million in 25 years. The mass unemployment of young people, far more than jihadist propaganda, is the primary explanation for the dramatic collapse of Afghanistan. Despite major differences in geography and culture, there are huge similarities between the Sahel and Afghanistan, increasing insecurity, drug trafficking, and the spread of radical Islam being the most worrisome. Unfortunately, the same recipe that failed in Afghanistan are again being rolled out in the Sahel without a radical change in international community's behavior. We will soon be confronted with first a Sahelistan and then an Africanistan, an African Afghanistan, but 5 or 10 times worse. And he says the book suggests that the fundamental cause of the uprising was fueled by stagnating agriculture, unemployment, widespread poverty, and most importantly, the feeling of hopelessness among the youth. The question is, how far away is Ghana from these underlying factors? All is ripe, I must say. The triggers are just here yet. We have got to up our game as a country, and leadership must demonstrate candor. That's his view.
Randy, I couldn't agree more with that comment.
And on our brother Mancha Bruce is actually the Dean of Students.
The Dean of Students, yes. Fantastic.
Right.
I couldn't agree more with the gentleman's position. Randy, we sit on a powder keg, and when I did my program at Kofi Annan, in one of our classes, I think with General Kotia, we looked at the indicators for failed states. Randy, Ghana ticks all the boxes. All. A huge youth population, growing unemployment, desperation. We tick all the boxes. So the class ended with concluding that it was the grace of God that has kept Ghana away from failing. Because all the things that are classic indicators of a failed state exist in Ghana. And Randy, you just need to drive around Accra and look at the desperation in young people, in the faces of young people. Randy, the next election is not necessarily going to be about who's got the best promises and slogans. It's about who can appeal to the youth of our country and give them practical solutions to unemployment. That is really where we sit. Randy, look, and unemployment as a national security crisis has been with us for years. In fact, that is what led Kufuor to start the NYEP, a national security report that said to him that, look, you had a crisis on your hand. We've not been able as a country to fix it holistically. And Randy, when the youth of our country begin to hear that political elites have the kinds of wealth that can transform the lives of young people,
1 minute too.
It is extremely problematic. Because Randy, if you see what happened, is Sri Lanka that went bust recently. When they ran out the government, Randy, they went to the House of MPs, both governing and opposition. Everybody in this country today who drives a Land Cruiser, whether you are a government person or a private chief executive, you are at risk. All the high-rise estates that we are told are the most secure estates, you are prime targets. Those are the places where they will storm. Nobody's going to storm Caprice and Alajo and Sotom and those places. They're coming for the high-rise areas where the rich live. And if we don't begin to take steps to walk this back, Randy, if you look at what's happening in Francophone West Africa, it tells you that there is a setting movement happening. Mali, Niger, Guinea, and the breakaway from the colonial master. And Randy, it is simply because the people are despondent. In those countries, it is not just unemployment, but a lack of security. Because the people are at the mercies, villages are being ransacked by jihadists, and the state is unable to protect the people. Man, if you go to Mali, the government of Mali is able to protect a 5-kilometer radius around the central business district, and that's all. If you live outside that 5-kilometer radius, you're at your own mercy. And when you have a security service, and you see, the last time I spoke about the Ghana Armed Forces, they weren't very happy about some of the things I said. But Randy, I have said I am not against persons associated with political parties being enlisted into the security services. Why? The people who get enlisted normally, don't they also vote? They do. So I don't have a problem with it. But the problem I have is when you enlist people who are not qualified. The guy just spoke about, the newspaper article, spoke about the impossibility of a journalist on an English radio station or TV station who can't speak English. How do you have security service personnel who are not fit, who cannot and who do not have endurance, who have been enlisted simply because of who they know, and because of that they disrespect the warrant officers? And Randy, we have built a situation where, look, when you talk to anybody who understands the Ghana Armed Forces, people who are respected the most on the barracks, are you a barracks boy, are warrant officers. Even generals respect the warrant officers, because the warrant officers are the ones who basically run you through the academy and take you through. Randy, under this government, we've seen national security boys, party apparatchiks, pull a warrant officer out of his vehicle, handcuff him, and assault him at Michelle Camp. It is this level of decadence that has led to the highest rate ever of officers going AWOL, away without official leave, in our services. Randy, we need to look at retooling of our services. You spoke about the briefing. Randy, we can't talk about the things in this country. But you see, when you look at the fact that 8 years ago, the terror threat was over 200 kilometers away from Ghana's northern border. And as we speak today, it's less than a kilometer away from our border. It must tell you that we must wake up. Yes, the 15 FOBs that have been set up for the Northern Shield. Randy, if you have men who are carrying outmoded weapons, if you have men who are carrying weapons that cannot fire, if you have men whose morale is at its lowest because their welfare is not properly taken care of, Randy, you have a security service that needs to be looked at. Right. Okay. And I have to control myself. But
yeah, in a minute we need to.
Joblessness. I mean, I think that government knows this and is doing her best to address unemployment, especially about the youth in this country. Most of the interventions that we have created have led in providing some jobs, though not at the scale that maybe we want. The 1D, 1F has created some jobs. The ambulance service has created some jobs. The NIA has offices in almost all the assemblies.
You don't seem to understand the gravity of the problem. If this is what you are answering as your solution,
no, please.
You seem to be at sea. You don't understand the gravity of the situation.
I'm saying that these are some of the things that have been done. You are saying that in 2024 election, it's going to be about job creation. But I don't want to do comparison. But when Rashid Pepo was asked about job creation, he said that you should go and cut grasses and heal stones. That's what he said. Oh, but he said that on Newsfile. But I'm saying that some things.
You see, when you make comments like this,
some things are being done, but we can still do more. That's the point I'm making.
What have you done?
But I'm giving you examples.
But we have claim of 2 million phantom jobs.
The political class. We have to be mindful.
This is the problem of our country. When those who have the power to make change,
we don't have to create the impression that any politician or any political actor who has some form of money, that money was gotten through political maneuverings. I don't want us to create that impression.
Nobody is creating that impression. It is your colleagues in government, in your political party, who are giving all politicians a bad name.
Can you respect my time? I'm saying
that. You must stop it. Don't put the blame anywhere. It is you. It's your people.
Our own good friend. Who I see as one of, my best friends in the NDC, Felix.
What did Felix do?
Rollins said that he was able to buy 2 houses, one costing 1.5 million.
Please stop this pedestrian lie. You are a professor. You are an associate professor.
Rollins said that.
Stop this pedestrian lie. Do you have any proof?
Rollins said that.
I think Felix should begin to sue people like you.
No, I'm
because
saying that.
You should stop. You should stop peddling this. Do you know where Felix lives?
No, I'm saying that.
Do you know where Felix lives? You are regurgitating a business lie.
I'm quoting a source.
Did you hear Rollins say that?
Rollins said that.
Dog.
I have the video.
Attributed to him.
Dog.
You see, that doesn't mean.
Please.
No, that doesn't.
We're having secretaries, Bedioto secretaries being robbed, and we are seeing statues of dollars in the house. And we're talking about
those monies illegally.
Felix did not pay any such money. Master, stop that. I won't allow you to continue. Felix did not pay any such money. Do you have any evidence of that?
Rollins said that. We all heard.
Rollins said what?
Rollins said that. He made that statement.
Oh, please.
That statement.
Dog, if we were to apply,
Rollins said Akufo-Addo is a criminal. Should we also take that?
Has said about people in this country.
I mean, Rollins said Akufo-Addo and his people are a bunch of criminals and crooks. Should we use that as a standard? Don't we all know where Felix lives?
At someone's house.
If you want,
you found 10,000 Ghana cedis equivalent today. We are talking about millions of dollars in the minister's house. What are you talking about?
Dog, I'm saying that.
Don't try to level the playing ground.
I don't want this to.
If you guys have looted the public person this way, don't do this.
Just hold on. Dog, if you had referred to what happened, what was seen at Obeda Samuel's house, I'm not sure that we would have had this discussion. Because if it is about what somebody said, I'm sure that there are many things that people have said about you.
Agreed.
But that cannot be used,
Randy, I'm not
when we are having a discussion like this.
Charlie, Randy, the point I'm making is that we should be very careful.
No, I think you owe Felix an apology. You can't go on this tangent. Apologize together for what?
What I'm saying is that we should be very careful. What is this? Associating people's wealth because they find themselves in political positions. That is the point I'm making. We have to be very careful because if you don't stop that, then every politician, because there are some politicians who also have businesses.
There's a
what do?
Mama
Nefono. No, what to? So no, Randy, it's one of us. I think that the GRA and institutions that oversight financial resources gotten by individuals must begin to go into the appropriateness or otherwise of wealth that people have. For example, if you are suspicious about the lifestyle of somebody, monies they've gotten, we should have interest in looking into that. Otherwise,
let's carry out a lifestyle audit of all ministers of government.
And all MPs as well.
Let's start it.
I'm ready for everything.
Let's start it. Let's have a lifestyle audit of 75 members of parliament and then over 80 members of government and the presidential staff. Let's do a lifestyle audit. And let's see.
We also go back where your time.
The people are not in government. We are doing a lifestyle audit of people in government.
All of us.
Let's do that.
So the people who are looking for hope are watching you.
Yes, and this is hopelessness coming from the MPP. But you know, Randy, let me just say that I want to call on the Ghana Health Service. Chief, it's okay. No, call on the Ghana Health Service. There is the not neglected tropical diseases unit. There is this invasion of black flies. In not just Dawenya, it's spread across the constituency. It's also happening in Madina, Langwantanan. They've identified it, but we need to have a proper containment process. Noguchi has identified
politicians in this country. Respect politicians and separate.
We should respect politicians.
Yes. We should respect them.
You can only be respected if you behave in a way that deserves respect. If you are a politician who is establishing wealth in your house, money that should be used to take care of people, who should respect?
Because of Cecilia Dapa's issue, the matter is under investigation.
Cecilia Dapa is not the only one in your government.
But the point
is
that
using her as a scapegoat.
If you
all of you are guilty of it
by saying that because monies were found in her home, she has done something untoward. That is my problem. Because let us allow the investigation to unfold and end. Then we can meaningfully interrogate that matter.
So what about them? What about the secretary in the office of the president?
Now, what we are saying is that the victim is being victimized. And if you're not careful, people will do something untoward, and they will let.
Who is the victim? Who is the victim?
Let me see
the young people of our country. The young people of our country are looking at you.
Up next, a conversation with the Minerals Commission.
$1 isn't pocket change. Let's not lose sight of the fact. Why would anybody even mention that $1 million? It means she has her sights set on something to cushion not just her personal life, but to secure her political future going forward, because that's the justification that she gave, being able to control others. So it is not something that we can merely wish away or excuse. And I think that, for starters, somebody should be checking her bank balance and to see if she's made some headway towards acquiring that war chest and is well on the way to meeting that threshold that she set for herself.
So,
and I'm not saying it idly.
Me making 1 million and not me cocoon is the same as I have intention to steal 1 million.
There's an account saying that
finally, about you're not taking lightly talk about making money. Do you think that there's a need to investigate that? You think that's necessary?
Absolutely. I think that for starters, and I've said that in other forms, we need to start with a lifestyle audit. We need to start with a lifestyle audit of our people in positions of authority. You heard President Mills saying that if SEPS officials are able to build a house in 3 years, then it means they're corrupt. What about government officials, whose only official source of income is their salary? acquiring property in 3-4 years. Isn't that worth investigating?
But the thing that Professor Mills spoke about, and God bless his soul, we know them, we just play ostrich, don't we?
That is why I'm saying that we shouldn't just pay lip.
My son, there's more blessing in giving than receiving. When you fear for you and couple the makers in
The pneumatological aberration of the Lord revealed unto me this night that me and my household should go out into the world and bless the world.
Makers Electronics Company Limited. Up to 67% discount. Our selected appliances.
This is what I call quintessential immaculatability.
The Makers Electronics Company Limited. Taifa Burkina Highway. Amasama Zongo Junction. At the K Pharmacy Dining. Oyer Fateman Boga Junction. Ashaman Valco Flat. Kumasi. Ahinema Kokobin. Asafubuachi Hospital Junction. Sakrani. Number 9 Market.
Tell mom and dad about the Makers Blessing Attack program.
From 0552 222 253 and 0552 222 254. Terms and conditions apply.
A state-of-the-art facility built with your family needs in mind. A medical center positioned for all your fertility problems and other diseases. Medimosis Clinic and Prostate Center. Our goal is to help our patients achieve and maintain optimal health. We have fully functional OPD laboratories in all our branches. Do you have problems urinating? Medimosis is the ultimate solution. Our Prostacure X capsules and Prostacure Herbal Tea treat prostate problems. Afromosis capsules gives you maximum performance, and for the ladies, Femacure X capsules solves all your menstrual problems. Locate Medimosis Clinic and Prostate Center at Adenta Barrier near the traffic light. Ashaman Ajekojo, Kumasi Ahinema Kokobing, and in Accra, Ministries after the Ghana Highways Yard. Call 0244 068 447. We accept National Health Insurance card and all other private insurance card. Medimosis Clinic and Herbal Center, your ultimate solution for prostate problems.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV, and it's time to have our conversation about the mining sector in the Republic of Ghana. But just to inform you that Gracefield Ventures is 10 years old, and it's been 10 years of transforming spaces into havens of beauty and functionality. And when you visit their showroom, which is situated at number 2 John Yeo Street, Kiseman, opposite the Kiseman Park, you would find swivel chairs that embraces you with every turn, sofas that invite you to sink into the embrace after a long day, and conference tables that become the epicenter of your team's creativity. Gracefield Ventures have you covered, from sleek file cabinets to elegant workstations and many, many more. You can reach Gracefield Ventures on 0501 672 776 or 0501 672 777. And get anniversary discounts and gifts. Gracefield Ventures, luxury redefined. Mr. Martin Ayisi, the CEO of the Minerals Commission, is here with me on the show. Good morning, Martin.
Morning, Randy.
How are you?
I'm fine. Yourself?
By the grace of God, we're doing well. We're doing well. I need play back the video again. What's this video about?
Randy, good morning. And sorry, got a lot of calls and messages last week that what's going on. Have you terminated your program with Metro? I said no. I think by far, this one and the one on Asempa has become the most popular sort of what we call education program. Randy, we spent the entire June, before that, good morning again, and good morning to our listeners and, if you like, viewers. We spent the entire June discussing everything that we need to know about small scale and community mining. We shall revisit along the line. I'm surprised you didn't start with Black Volta. Maybe it will come along the line.
No, after this, I'll do Black Volta and then something I sent to you about lithium.
So, as part of responsible mining, to ensure that the small scale people operate properly, the government asked us to develop what we call an operational manual. I think that was also part of the entire document, an operational manual. Practically to guide how a typical small scale and community mining site should look like. So if you look at the large scale, in fact, some people are even surprised that this is a large scale, if this is not a large scale, or they are surprised that this is small scale. These are the kind of things you have at the large scale part, of course, on a larger scale. So what we are saying is that before any community mining scheme will be launched, by the way, we give them small scale license. You must have certain protocols and certain structures and facilities in place. So you must have like a camp, if you like, can call it a camp. Now at the camp site, you should have some small offices. So for example, this is a typical office, maybe a conference room. You must have a good room. You must have a first aid, and you can see a mini clinic there. So this one, for example, shows the clinic, a small clinic, or a place when they are injured, they can actually quickly treat them before they go to the nearest hospital. And then some decent car park, and then have a kitchen, a changing room. You can see this one, they even have toilets. It's all in the operational manual. And then you're supposed to have male toilet, female toilet, have water on site, so they've sunk borehole. So unless you go to these structures, we will not recognize it as community mining. So this is how it's supposed to be done. Now you can decide to do container. In fact, even the large scale people, they have containers. If you go to the mining site of Asanko large scale, there are containers there. You can decide to do block if you have some money or you have good sponsors, or you can decide to do what we call the wood. We accept any of them. What is important, the bottom line is that you must have all those structures in place. So, Randy, this was launched yesterday by the minister.
Yesterday?
Just yesterday. So this is a model, structure of how a small-scale site is supposed to look like. And we gave them a gold catcher. They are going to work and pay over 2-3 years. Now, this is all that we are talking about when we say responsible mining. So we will need to spend the next 2-3 years and replicate this across the so-called 13 regions where small scale is going on. So this is what we are doing now. This is a typical responsible mining scheme. It's going to create thousands of jobs for the people. That's why I was telling you the other day that if we do this thing very well, and that's what I mean by if we do it this way, these kind of structures, we'll take off the unemployment. These guys can work across. I mean, anybody who sees this or walk to this site will know that these are well organized, they are responsible. Randy, these people, they can file production returns now. Okay? These people, our inspectors will visit them. So, for example, I think it's in the Amansia area. So, the Obuasi Office of Minerals Commission will be visiting them to ensure that they are now doing the work responsibly. This is what we are calling for. This is what Ghanaians are calling for. Now, initially, this place, they were doing galamsey. So now that they have water on site, borehole on site, and then they will mount the gold catcher on site, they will only have to put the water in it and then just get their gold. Nobody is going to wash into the black water or whatever river is around. Nobody, you can't see champagne there. This is fresh, barely 24 hours. You understand? So this is what government is talking about. This is what MINCOM is doing. And everything is in the manual. Almost all the small-scale miners, we share the manual with them. That is it. And 2 were done yesterday. Next week, we shall go up north. So this is a model, typical, small-scale community mining site to all promote responsible mining. As I speak, folks from the regulatory body in Sierra Leone are coming. They'll be here for a week. And they said we should take them to some of our sites to go and learn about these things.
So this thing we see.
Yes.
Who funds this?
Normally the community or the people who come together. For example, some of the MPs, as part of their support, they buy the gold catcher for them. I know several MPs, whether NDC or MPP, because when we are doing this thing, we don't do politics with it. There are several mining communities where NDC MPs are MPs. I need to set this record straight. You understand that? Some of them, so for example, Boli, the seat is an NDC seat. Are you going to say that because it's an NDC, you will not do this? No. So some of the MPs have taken it upon their own to buy the gold catchers for them. Some of them are led by the chiefs. I'll be glad if they can show the pictures of their lunch to even see how they dress, because the way they should be attired is also part of the responsible mining. Or the miners, yes, so you see, this is their lunch, and those are the workers. I mean, anybody who is watching this and is not listening to any narrative or just watching the video will think that it's a large scale. We insist on this thing. And the minister, his last question is, have you ensured that all the protocols and all the things in the manner, so you can see the chiefs there? That is it. So the chiefs, look at it, that's Deputy Minister Duka. So in case a minor is injured, he gets a first aid treatment maybe before he goes to CAT. That's Confanoche. So this is what we are talking about. Those are the chiefs seated there. So when they mine, the traditional council will get something, the chiefs will get something. So these are the workers, properly attached. So the sponsors, some are MPs, some of them are the chiefs, some of them are the miners. For example, this was an illegal site. And then we carved it out, we formalized them, and then they came together, brought some people who are sponsors, and then they said, look, we'll pay for the gold catch-up, but everything will be in the name of the scheme. So as they work, pay their taxes, file production, repair, give some to the community, give some to the assembly, then they can also pay the sponsor back, or sometimes they sell the gold to the sponsor. You understand that? Now, this can only happen under the auspices of the district assembly, because you need to inform the DCE, you need to inform the assembly that the minister has, set this date. Is it okay for you? Then the chiefs are consulted. And then we'll do all these background checks. They get a venue, they prepare the place, we come and launch. But before the launch will take place, the district inspector of Minerals Commission, in this case, because it's a man's here, the Obuasi officer will have to go around and tick all the boxes and ensure that what is in the operational manual. Yes, he can see some first aid, he can see conference room, he can see a car park, there's water, there's toilet, there's a gold room, etc. Those things are basic. Then he must see evidence of the miners, they procure all their working gear, everything, before the minister will go and launch. So you see, this is official. I mean, nobody will call this Galamsey.
How does this dissuade those who are engaged in Galamsey?
Randy, all the people, all the miners who were dressed there, until yesterday, they were illegal miners. So we asked them, stop. We've spoken to the people there. The company that had that big ground says they want to give that area. So work with our officer. This took about 6 months for them to put all these things together. So I am proud and happy to say that people who until yesterday will have been arrested by the military and prosecuted today are now gainfully employed. That's what I mean. These are illegal miners. So if I'm here, those who are listening to me, and we are circulating this video widely to the small scale platform to tell them that, look, these are illegal miners. Now they are happy. They don't have to look over their shoulder. Nobody have to, blow their whistle and say, oh, Omubo, or like this are by 18. Yes, they were illegal miners as of yesterday. But now they are properly formalized. So we will need to do more of these things. It requires a lot of money. That is it. So when people say that, these community mining are glorified Galamsey, I said, no. That's why I made an authoritative statement and said the other time that until you go through this process, any signboard you see somewhere in some corner or some village there and they put it there, it is illegal mining. Because we see some areas where people have mounted signboard and they are inside the bush, they're working. Then you hear journalists or even one or two people say, oh, there's Galamsey here, community mining has become Galamsey. So I'm very proud of this. That's a minister standing there, that's a chief. So this is a first aid center, basic. And we are good to go. So thousands of jobs have been created yesterday, properly so-called. Other than that, we shall go to arrest all those people. And you can see the chiefs there. The chief of the area will preside over the Deba. So it means that the chief, the community, the assembly, everybody, the community knows that this is going on. They've accepted it. We have to do stakeholder consultation and they have to be consulted. Other than that, why will a chief come here? You can't just go to a chief. I'm a chief. You can't come to me today and say, let's go to a ceremony. You need to come and inform me properly. That look, and then we will do a formal letter and say, this area has been declared a community mining scheme. And these are the people who are behind. The officer takes them to the chiefs and the DCE. So in the next 3, 4, 5 months, we'll take all the necessary steps to prepare the place for mining to take place. So the minister will come and launch at the appropriate time. So the chief will let you know. If he has any question, you ask. And sometimes some of them visit the site. In fact, there is one that we intend to launch next month. It's the chief himself who is leading it and mobilizing his people. So if we have been doing this since 1989, will not be faced with the kind of thing we are faced with.
All right, let's move on to something that I was extremely disturbed about, and we spoke about it the last time you were here, and it has to do with the Volta Lake, which we all thought was the last lake standing, and the very disturbing pictures we saw about activities of illegal miners and how the Volta was being turned into what we've seen, the despicable things we've seen about the other water bodies in some of the mining communities. The last time we spoke, you said that you were in touch with the security agencies.
Yes.
And that a strategy had been mapped. This is what I showed you. And that there was going to be a serious operation there soon. What's happened?
Randy, I'm happy to report that they've cleared all of them now. I think Friday, my minister had a kind of a press conference and then updated the nation on what is going on. Yesterday too, I saw the Savannah regional minister, because all these places around the Savannah region, if you see the map, you see some kind of a U shape, that stretch, that's where the thing is happening. And they've cleared all of them. They remove all the structures. The military are there. The operations are ongoing. They've been there still. We get daily pictures. It's unfortunate I couldn't bring some of the daily pictures that we've been getting. So they are there. They are doing their work, and they are going to stay there. They are patrolling. I think I shared some of the videos and the pictures with you. Yeah. So yes, as you said, this is the last water body standing and issue stand. So this is a very serious matter.
So are they going to be there permanently?
Yeah, they have to be there. And then we have to take steps. You see, this place is a dense jungle. I think I shared a video with you. Very dense, inaccessible. You can only get there either through heli or boats. So they have to be there, because you see, when they leave, they will come back. Sometimes it takes anything between 2 weeks or even less, or if you like, give yourself a month or so to put those structures you see there. Okay? So let's just start pose the two. Look at those things that they put on the water body there. The earlier typical responsible mining scheme I showed, the model. And these are the kind of things they were doing, except that in the Amansia area that we carved out and launched yesterday, they were doing it on land. And this one they are doing in the river body. They are going to be there. The minister is clear about that. They are just going to be there. They have to be there. Because you see, if you don't keep them there, they will come back. And we cannot afford to treat this water body like what has happened in the south. So they are going to be there. There is that assurance by the minister that the soldiers will stay there for a very long haul until the people are tired. That is it.
Did they make some arrests or people?
A lot of people were arrested. And then again, because it was a dense jungle, a lot of them also fled into the various bushes around. The intelligence or information we are getting is that a lot of them are foreigners.
Foreigners?
Yeah.
Like Burkinabes?
Togolese. A lot of them Togolese. And then some Burkinabes, and then our brothers across Niger, Mali, and all those things. Yes, a lot of them. That is it. And I also got this information from the local chiefs that they are very happy with the operations, because they realize that these are people who have come from elsewhere. They are not locals. Many of them were people who have come from other parts of the country, but predominantly that's the intelligence we got from the military operation. So this has been sorted. They're going to stay there. So it's not as if we'll go back or they've just washed their hands because they've cleared them and then leave it like that. Because when this thing, if the military doesn't stay there, give yourself 1 month, they'll come back. That is that. I saw the way the whole nation got alarmed when this story went viral. Just like the bullying and this idea. So it's been sorted. That is it.
So is that the Waka Waka and Sinyekura illegal mining?
No.
Okay.
The Waka Waka and the Sinyekura, that one is the land proper.
Okay.
And that is happening in
the forest.
Yes. Underground.
Underground?
Yes.
Whoa.
Underground. So, still on small scale mining or this issue, you see, I think about, is it Monday or so, the graphic was quoting me, I think in the middle page. I pose that question here, and I've said it everywhere. Let me make this statement clear and underscore it before people put it out of context in the kind of situation we find ourselves. It's not government policy. It's not my minister. These are my personal views. I keep asking the question. What do we do with all these minerals in the forest? Again, Randy, let me repeat. This is not the position of the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. This is not the position of government. This is my personal think aloud views as somebody who regulates, who has the institution that regulates mining in this country. Practically almost all our forest reserves have some minerals in them, okay? It's not just good, there are other ones too, you know, bauxite, you know, iron ore, and a host of other minerals. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, do we just leave them there like that? Or should we as a nation take a decision and say, can we map these resources and get to know what actually is there, and then make a conscious decision as to whether or not we should exploit them and match that with, let's say, reclamation or how to protect? Okay, we shouldn't pretend and behave like ostriches. This is a debate we should have, and it should be devoid of this environmental extremism or whatever. You understand? And so you have less, because we need to go and find out, 5 million ounces of gold. We've done a proper mapping. That's a lot of billions. What do? Do we get some well-organized, large-scale company and say, look, if it is 2 square kilometers, we give you some 20 square kilometers somewhere, you do an offset and reclaim, and then some money is given to Forestry Commission to do most of their programs, some is given to Geological Survey to do other surveys, and some is also used to protect the environment? Or do we just watch what is going on? Because you see, some of the forest reserves, you can't just reach there. Randy, you should understand. Again, let me underscore, these are my personal views and positions. It's not even the view of the commission. I'm speaking for myself. My even officers there, we brainstorm can disagree. You see the Bui National Park, it's dense jungle. The Bui National Park, where the Blackwater runs through, very dense. In fact, some areas have even been flooded following the dam and all those things. There are other areas of the national park that, you understand, that are outside the buffer zone. And even there are other areas too that are on land proper that has a lot of minerals. Okay? The question is, can we do proper mining? I know there are roaches and those environments who disagree and they will come against us. Even I see they are speaking against some of these airlines. But Randy, Awaso bauxite, the entire concession is in a forest reserve. And you see, you need to put out these facts so that people know. People don't have information, that's why they can say anything they like. But that is not to say that they shouldn't disagree with you. But you see, you should disagree with the person based on facts, based on, like we say in Ghana, Apo. So 1941, we've been mining bauxite in Awaso. It's a forest reserve. It still has several years to go. Parts of Newmont's concession is in forest. Okay, Ahafo. Chirano is forest, but it's underground. So the question is, where the ore body is underground, okay, and you're not going to touch the forest. A question somebody should be asking, or what we should be asking ourselves is there a way we can take the ore body and then maybe have the processing plant outside the forest? Like these ones here you are telling me. You saw the pictures. Yes. After all, Johannesburg, that 56 kilometer stretch, it's all several years of mining underground. Okay? And I want to believe strongly it's a blasting by the illegal miners from these disused shafts that set up all those things. So that's a typical question to ask, for instance. Forest, dense forest. Then you have this huge, maybe gold reserve, underground, where you can just reach it by a shaft. Should we allow mining and have processing plant outside the forest, maybe several kilometers away? You understand that? So the forest is still intact. I mean, these are things we should be debating as a nation and stop pretending. And then you have several thousands of illegal miners entering dense jungles where maybe people cannot reach. Because I want to believe that these military operations is costing the state a lot of money. You understand that, to do all those things? Is it a case that, because if you do an assessment from Accra all the way to Sisala there, maybe 40 plus forest, maybe you say you need about 40,000 forest guards armed with guns and all those things. is it a budget we can sustain? So can we make some distinction? The ones that are underground, can't we mine them, for instance, and locate the processing facilities outside the forest and say, okay, the ones that are surface, we'll leave them. Okay, this is an assessment we can do. I mean, the experts are there, Forestry Commission experts are there, the biodiversity people are there. We can do all those assessments and do a proper mapping and stop pretending. Okay, right. And it should be devoid of politics. Again, to wrap up, these are my personal views.
Right.
Because I what is going on is nonsense.
Okay. Right. What are we watching now?
Yeah. So these are some of the operations that the military carried out in the Blackwater. These are along the banks, removing the structures, demobilizing them, and clearing them. That's all. They've removed all those things. It's all done now. The question is, how do you ensure they don't come back?
You should answer that.
You see? Yeah, so this is the one that the officer found. This is still the Blackwater, they are clearing them. Okay, yes. That is it.
This must have been some very serious...
And you can see how dense it is.
Yeah.
So you need a lot of helicopters. In fact, the military were saying that they only had to reach there by helicopters and boats. And all. And those things cost money. So my question is, or my take is, maybe you can say that the ones that are surface, leave them. Okay? Because maybe they are ecologically more fragile or something. And then maybe the ones that are underground. And it's just, you can reach underground the size of, let's say, Metro TV. When the whole thing covers, let's say, the whole of this place to police headquarters, Minerals Commission. And you can go on that. I mean, the 56-kilometer stretch, Johannesburg, look at all those buildings there. And centuries of gold mining took place underground. Okay, so let's put out the facts there by Forestry Commission, by Minerals Commission, by EPA, and let's all sit around the table and debate it and then have a common decision and say, look, maybe these ones, we should leave it. These ones, because they're underground and hard rock, you can just sink sharp, go and take them and locate the processing facility somewhere. We got to think through these things. And I don't want us to behave the way we started formalizing small-scale mining in 1989 in just Ashanti, Central, Eastern, Western, and Upper East. We sat down, successive governments, didn't do anything. We didn't spend money on geological investigation. And then now you have something that 100,000 people were doing, being done by 2-3 million people, direct and indirect, in 13 regions, and you are complaining. You see, that's our behavior. It's the same thing. This Ramsar side nonsense. Or people building close to the Ouija Dam, we see it. We are all there pretending as ostriches. So it's the same argument I'm making here. Then when it is forest, they say, hey, I'm not talking about illegality here. So lots of gold in a forest that is underground. What do you do with it? You're not going to clear the vegetation. Should we or we shouldn't mind? We should be debating these things and stop pretending. Okay? Is it that the whole of 31 million Ghanaians didn't see people were building in Ramsar side? That we didn't know the whole of Ouija Dam, the spill over there, it was not covered by EIA, and for that matter, nobody could build there. What were we doing as a nation? Nobody complained. And then when they started pulling structures down, you say, hey, what are you doing? People have invested millions. What kind of people are we? You understand? So that's my view. I, for example, personally think that where the gold is underground, deep-seated, we should think about exploiting it.
All right.
Okay? And then you go and be asking people for money to do one or two things, and then you have billions down there, and then decide maybe and say, look, for the ones that are open pits, let's leave it. And this is a job we can give to Geological Survey. They map the entire forest, and then come out with the figures and say, look, these ones are deep-seated, we can mine them underground, just a shaft. Bring the gold, relocate the processing plant elsewhere. These ones are surface, ecologically sensitive, let's leave them. They are there. So you see, in making a decision which ones to settle on, you look at the fact that, all these areas, the rivers take their headwaters. There are some sensitive animals or wildlife here. So these ones, we can leave them. Because we need to protect the headwaters of the water bodies, rivers, some wildlife. But this one, if it's not a headwater place, there are no wildlife, etc., and it is underground, and they realize that there's 5 million ounces of gold there, okay, you just sink a shaft or a decline, go and bring it, and then take it 2-3 kilometers away from the forest and go and process it, and it will benefit the state. We should look at it.
All right.
But to conclude, it's not government position. because I don't want anybody to quote me and say these are my personal views.
You think there ought to be a discussion?
Yeah, we have to have a discussion, have a policy around it. And Graphic quoted me extensively, I think, in the middle page of their Monday.
Are you going to submit a paper?
I've been thinking about it. I'll do some write-up and run it by my minister, and it's up to him to see, well, it makes sense or not. Let's drop it. Okay, let me go and discuss our cabinet. Let's have a public discussion.
But you feel strongly about it?
Yeah, I feel strongly about it because what is happening is annoying.
Okay.
We are just pretending.
All right, so let's wrap up on this one. I saw this article. I sent it to you. Whereas the Akufo-Addo government has granted an Australian private company the license to exploit the lithium deposits of Ghana against the national interest, Mexico has declared its lithium deposits as a national strategic asset and will not allow private investment in its exploitation. Ghana has literally gifted, in quotes, controlling ownership of the rich lithium deposits to Australia for an estimated 10% carry interest, 5% royalties. How can this happen at this day and age? Has the media in Ghana become complicit in this syndicated joint criminal enterprise? This was by Adai Sebo and published by GhanaExtractives.com. Now, I've seen a statement from the ministry, I think a couple of days ago, and the ministry says that that is not the case. And this says that what is being circulated are untrue, and that the welfare of citizens remains utmost priority. And it says that these stories are totally false. For the avoidance of doubt, no company has been granted a lease, license, and or permit to exploit, mine, and or produce lithium in Ghana. And that ongoing explorations for lithium are presently underway, and it has submitted a policy proposal to Cabinet for the regulation, exploitation, and management of Ghana's green minerals, including lithium. The proposal is currently under scrutiny and evaluation. It sounds a bit technical. You have told us severally about a company that is somewhere in the central region that is looking at this. We've spoken about policy and all that. What's the difference? There's a company doing something.
Okay, Randy, to start with, this was issued by my minister just yesterday.
Oh, yes.
I saw it. And again, you see, that is why people are full of praise for this, our metro program. And the one in Asempa, GTV and Co. Let me start by saying this. There's a lot of ignorance all over Ghana. People are just damn ignorant, okay? Even in the medical field. Everything, every area of human endeavor, people are just ignorant. So when you sent it to me, I saw it. It says the government has given a license for 5% royalty and something like that. And then they were made, yes, Randy. You know our first, yes, you remember our first initial encounter. Essentially, mining is done in two ways. I mean, there are two aspects of the whole mining thing. You have to first pick up some authorization, approval, or license, or permit, however you want to call it, to explore for the mineral, prospect. Okay, if I want to be a bit vernacular, or say in your town or Mikoshishim, okay, Mikocheki, in the layman's language, you may go and you not find anything, or you find something. It's all exploration. It could take years, like the one in the way I took like 6-7 years. That is exploration. Yes. So Atlantic Lithium, for example, had an exploration license. They've been exploring. But when it comes to mining, that an entity or a company has been granted a lease or a permit by a government of Ghana to extract lithium, 5% royalty, as the lady or the gentleman purported to put out there, it is not true. That's all that the minister is saying. So let me underscore that. Government of Ghana, acting by the minister responsible for mines, on the recommendation of Minerals Commission, has not granted any person, company, artificial or natural, any right to mine lithium.
Are you in discussions with respect to granting a license?
So you saw the statement, the second or third paragraph. Yeah, yes, there are some companies that are doing exploration. But the lady said people have been giving license for 5% royalty to mine lithium. It's not true. Nobody today has any authorization or authority to produce lithium. Nothing like that has been done. But some companies are looking or exploring.
But are you in discussions with
of course,
with companies
of course.
The view of granting
yes,
licenses?
of course, but nothing has been done
Could
yet.
it be that in the course of your discussions with these companies, it is the 5% royalties and the 10% carry on interest?
So read the concluding part of the minister's release.
Okay.
He said government will soon come out with a position as to how these green minerals should be exploited.
Okay.
I think I said that to you. That is so it's exploration that is going on by a lot of companies. But to say that a mining company has been given license to now produce lithium or exploit, and at that 5% royalty, you know, Akufo-Addo government has done something like that, is not true.
Are you familiar with the Mexico situation?
I'm familiar. I mean, I'm familiar with a lot of things concerning
for me, the thrust, I can appreciate why you would want to clarify, especially when it is emphatic that it has been done, and the position of government is that
it's not been done.
So I can understand that clarification. But I guess that the real import of that write-up is to say that this is the Mexican example, and that in this day and age, Ghana ought to be looking at the Mexican model.
Okay. Just a minute.
All right, so we'll be dealing with the issues of lithium and green minerals, and just wrapping up on that as well. Needing to find out what the Mexican example is. It's more of a nationalizing the green minerals and not getting the private sector to do what they believe that we're doing, and that's what I'd want Mr. Martinez to address, to deal with as far as this particular issue is concerned. Will the Mexican example be the way to go for Ghana, or probably we're looking at something that we think is much better than that? And so we'll find out. And there's a lot of interest that people think that we failed in the way that we've negotiated a lot of these things in the past, and we must not fail on this one. So I'm saying that the thrust of that particular article was that this is how the Mexicans view the green minerals, and this is their approach. And the authors of the article believe that that is the way to go.
Randy, let me say this. I think you've asked these questions before, not necessarily on lithium, but generally. You see, before, as a nation, before you take any steps as to how a particular activity should be conducted, you must know what you have. You must know what you have. So, for example, take Saudi Arabia, that we are told, you know, they do about 10 million barrels a day. The only country in the world where we are told has spare capacity. You know, Saudi Arabia can single-handedly change the price of fuel or crude oil in the world because of what they produce. What Saudi Arabia can do, the kind of maybe tough measures they can take in their, I'm laying foundation in their petroleum sector, Nigeria cannot do it. Okay? Nigeria barely does even 2 or 3 million barrels. Saudi Arabia does 4 or 5 times that. So before it can take certain action, you must know what you have. That's one. 2, what Nigeria can do, maybe Ghana cannot do it. Okay? We do what? Maybe barely 200,000 barrels a day. Nigeria is doing millions, or Angola. So that's the same way you should be looking at things. There are some countries, they have a lot of reserves. So let's take platinum, for instance. About 80% of the platinum reserves are in South Africa. So if South Africa gets up to there and says, we are shutting down all platinum mines, nobody is going to export platinum, then it means that there will be panic. The price will hit the roof. People have to quickly look at other substitutes. So you got to look at the state of play. I mean, when countries like Indonesia take certain actions regarding nickel, it worries everybody because of the kind of production they have. Why do you think when it comes to green minerals or so-called critical minerals, the West is worried about security of supply? So, for example, cobalt, that is used a lot in these mobile phones. Over 2/3 come from DRC, okay, where the whole of the eastern part is in turmoil. So Mexico, Zimbabwe, and other countries can decide to do certain things based on what they are seeing. I mean, Mexico, until recently or so, they didn't allow other forms of contracts in their oil sector. They used to do service contracts. And then when they realized that their reserves were going down and all those things, they decided now to open up to allow private people to come and take, participate in oil runs and all those things. So if they are taking certain actions, maybe they are looking at capacity, what they have, and they can do certain things. As I speak, just 3 countries control the world's reserves of lithium: Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile, the so-called lithium triangle. So, Australia, right now, as we speak, Australia produces 50% of the world's lithium. So if Australia decides that, look, I'm going to withhold production and all those things, prices may hit the roof. So countries do these things for various reasons. So we cannot just get up and say, look, the one we have here, so far, the only one we found, they're going to produce about 320,000 tons a year. If you go to Mali, Gulamina, it's about 800 and something tons. But you see, Mali is different from us. We have advantage of governance. They are landlocked. So if they have to take it out raw, then they have to transport all the way to, let's say, Senegal, or they'll go to Ivory Coast. So that will add up to transport cost. Where it's at the coast there, you can have a processing plant, or assuming we are even taking it. Okay? So Mali also may have maybe 4 or 5 times what Ghana has, but maybe the cost of producing it in Ghana here and taking out, it may be far cheaper because of maybe the associated infrastructure. Do you understand what I'm saying? Guinea, depending on which figure you're looking at, people quote anything between 25 or 40% of the world's reserves of bauxite. But at least we can bang our hope on 25. So if certain countries decide to do certain things, then they can have the muscle. Yeah, you can imagine if Saudi, the so-called Gulf Cooperation Council, gets up to there and say they are withdrawing certain quantities of barrels of oil. You see $150, $200 a day. So don't just get up and say, oh, Indonesia has banned the export of nickel and bauxite, so you also do the same thing. Now Indonesia has huge reserves of bauxite, and they are one of the big players for nickel. Nickel is a battery mineral. Okay, so they took this hard stand and say no more raw nickel going outside. You're going to process locally. So the Chinese who run most of the mines are now building smelters and refineries. They are doing it. But you see, the size of the nickel deposits in Indonesia is not the same. Okay? So, just because, other than that, I have this joke. Why? Because then we have a situation where if you find one crocodile in a pond, you say, oh, it's a tourist attraction. So we got to be careful because look, DRC and the other, countries. I remember DRC, they have been changing their policy several times. They will get up today and say, oh, nobody can export copper concentrate, process it. Then the following day, 6 months, they reverse. We have to take our time. So this, let me wrap up on this. So 320,000, tons of lithium will be produced, annually for 12 years. There's a potential for a huge upside. Because if you look at the figure last year, 277, and then within 1 year, they've grown their reserve to 320. That is good. The question is, if you are saying, let's say, for the sake of argument, Atlantic Lithium should process everything here, then that will call for, let's say, the establishment of a chemical plant. Okay? So that when they produce the lithium, they get what they call the spodumene or the concentrate. That's a raw form. Okay? In order to be able to refine the concentrate into carbonate or, let's say, hydroxide, they will need some processing plants. Then the question is, there must be a feasibility study. Those are the things we are looking at now. So it comes to say, okay, if I want to process, let's say, 200,000 tons of the Oya lithium, I'll need to put up a chemical plant of 500 million. It's so energy sapping. The way we charge for energy, energy cost is so high here. Maybe it's 20 pesos per kilowatt hour for the sake of argument. I look at other things and put it all together. It's not economic for me. The same 200,000, maybe if I go to country A, okay, I'll be able to produce it. So I can't do it. So it's either you allow me to take it out or I walk away or something of that nature. So then you have to sit down and ask yourself, that's why the minister says they'll come out very soon with a policy. You have to ask yourself and say, okay, then I may have to reduce, let's say, the power for you to be able to be economic and compete with the likes of China. Because China controls 44% of the processing.
So Martin, the expectation...
Let me just wrap up and then you get that. You see, China alone controls 44% of the midstream.
Yes.
That is refining the concentrate into hydroxide or carbonate. Then they control over 70% of the cathode that is used in making the cells. This is one country. You know how China can cut costs. So why will I come and mine here, and then if you ask me to refine, it will cost more? So then in that case, the police, for example, can say, okay, can I reduce corporate tax for you? Can I treat the chemical plant, maybe perhaps in Sotong as 1D, 1F? Can I reduce royalty for you so that you have a chemical plant? And then when we do the maths, and then you say that, okay, if I do all this for you as government, I'm losing $50 million a year. But when you put up the chemical plant and you produce the carbonate or hydroxide, I'll get more than $50 million. Then it makes sense. Because 2 weeks ago, the price of the carbonate was just about $4,000. When they refine it in a chemical plant for the carbonate, sorry, the price of the concentrate 2 weeks ago, I think 6 July, was about $4,000 per ton. Okay? I'm using the Chinese price. Then, when they refine the concentrate into carbonate, $42,000.
Yes.
So 14 times.
Yes.
So that incentive you give, for example, for that person to produce it, if you sell it at 30,000, 40,000, and then you lose it, then it makes sense. So US is giving incentive, Inflation Reduction Act. A lot of the countries, and let me tell you this, Australia has just developed a strategy. This year, barely 2 months ago, critical mineral strategy. UK has it. They also have lithium last year. Canada has a strategy last year. So within this 1 year window, a lot of countries are coming out with strategy. So the statement minister put out yesterday, that is what he's referring to, that will come out soon and it's imminent. Come out with the strategies as to what to do with our lithium for the entire value chain. Refining, processing, should they have to list, etc. So we'll do that. It's imminent.
Okay.
Within the next, but I'll just have to wait for him because he's a minister. And you come out properly.
So you've done all this model?
Oh yeah, we've done all those things. We prepared the briefs for him. So you will see, like somebody will say, see magic soon.
All right. Okay.
We'll come out and there will be a lot of public consultation.
Okay.
Yes, but nobody has a license to mine lithium as I speak.
Okay.
I'm the boss of the Minerals Commission, and minister doesn't sign any license unless he moves from Minerals Commission. And here am I telling you that I have not recommended anything to him to give anybody license or has been given license to mine lithium. Full stop.
All right. Okay. So that'll be it. Thanks, Martin, for your time. I hope to see you next week. We'll continue with our discussions, and we'll be tracking the progress on the Volta Lake as well, and of course the small-scale mining bit too. So up next, Metro Sports.